Chapter 34-25. Among them, they focused their investigation on the Langya Star because they were the only ones who managed to return. Although the Vermilion Bird Palace had gone berserk, the people they had sent to the Void Ocean had not returned either. The Langya Star acted as if they were facing a great enemy. They once again activated their world-level array formation and enveloped the entire star realm. They also refused to provide any clues to anyone. However, the Dragon Valley and the Eight-Wind Palace were very powerful, so they still managed to get some information. First, they confirmed that only Sage Mubai had returned. Other than him, everyone else seemed to have died. It was also revealed that Lin Xian had obtained the Great Sage's inheritance from the Sikong family. It was also said that the deaths of the powerhouses and geniuses of the various large families were related to the inheritance of the Great Sage. When this news spread, the surrounding large families and sects were all stunned. Indeed, a peerless treasure had indeed appeared. The Great Sage's inheritance. Even they were jealous of it now. No wonder the Vermilion Bird Palace had attacked so crazily. It seemed like they were after the Great Sage's inheritance. Should we make a move? Damn it, Lin Wuti had not returned to the Langya Star yet. We must act quickly. Yes, we must not let the Vermilion Bird Palace get ahead of us. The powerhouses of the Dragon Valley and the Eight-Wind Palace were quickly discussing countermeasures. The people from the Sikong clan were completely crazy. They had not paid much attention before. But when they heard that the Great Sage's inheritance had appeared, they were all pleasantly surprised. However, when they learned that the Great Sage's inheritance had been snatched away by an outsider, they went completely crazy. Their reaction was not any worse than the Vermilion Bird Palace's. Damn it! Our own ancestors' inheritance must not fall into the hands of others. Yes, capture that Lin Wuti and tear him to pieces. Lin Wuti was too greedy. He already had the 9 sons and Great Dragon's inheritances, but he still wanted the Great Sage's inheritance. He deserved to die. The Sikong family swore that they would capture him and take back their inheritance. The Langya Star. It was as if he was facing a great enemy. Actually, after Sage Mubai returned, he had immediately sent people to receive Lin Xian. After all, Lin Xian was too dangerous. However, when they returned to the vicinity of the Void Ocean, they realized that there was no one there. Lin Xian was nowhere to be found. This made them extremely anxious. In the end, they discovered that the news had been exposed, and countless experts had come to besiege the Langya Star. As a result, they had no choice but to activate a world-level defensive formation. At the same time, they were even more worried about Lin Xian's safety. These people would definitely go crazy and chase after Lin Xian without a care for anything else. However, there was one piece of information that surprised them greatly. Lin Xian actually went to planet Suzaku. What was going on? This information was obtained by chance, so they were even more confused. Could it be related to Yin Nantian? They didn't know, so they could only send people to search quickly. However, at this moment a piece of news spread. The moment this news came out, it caused an uproar in the myriad worlds. Yin Nantian was dead. Yin Nantian was killed. And he was killed by Lin Wuti. This piece of news was simply too crazy. The various large families, sects, and holy lands were all stunned. When the people of the Vermilion Bird Palace heard this news, they also roared like crazy. Damn it, who was it? They had already killed everyone who knew. The others were all members of the Vermilion Bird Palace, so it was impossible for them to leak the news. But now the news had actually spread. Reporting to the palace master, a saint has disappeared. This piece of news spread in the Vermilion Bird Palace. When the palace master and the grand elders of the Vermilion Bird Palace heard this, their expressions changed. Damn it, this is bad. An expert has kidnapped one of our saints and is searching his soul. That was how they learned about Yin Nantian. This little saint's guess was right. The person who did it was someone from the Eight-Wind Palace. A little saint from the Eight-Wind Palace secretly kidnapped a saint from the Vermilion Bird Palace on planet Suzaku. Then they received this news after searching his soul. When they heard this news, they were also extremely shocked. Yin Nantian was dead. He was killed by Lin Wuti. No wonder the Vermilion Bird Palace was so crazy. Yin Nantian was the hope of the Vermilion Bird Palace. Now their hope was extinguished. How could they not be crazy? Moreover, they guessed that Yin Nanshan's inheritance might have fallen into Lin Xian's hands. This made them even more jealous. No, they had to keep this news a secret and secretly arrest Lin Wudi. However, they didn't expect the Eight-Wind Palace to have spies as well. That was why the news spread. And it spread all over the universe. Once the news was out, it was a big deal. It wasn't just about the Void Sea and the Great Sage's inheritance. It involved the inheritance of an emperor. They were well aware of how terrifying the inheritance of Great Emperor Hongwu was. If they could get it, their chances of becoming a great emperor would increase greatly. In an instant, everyone's eyes turned red. The Langia star was already in the limelight. This news caused the Langia star to be in extreme danger again. The Langia star had no choice but to activate many world-class formations. Even the Langia Palace's palace lord and some grand elders had no choice but to go to the underground dragon vein to awaken some living fossils at any time. They used their foundation to prevent the destruction of the world. Langia Palace. The dark red dragon was extremely anxious. Yen Ryu had already left, but the northern demon and his sister stayed behind. The northern demon stood on a mountain peak and frowned. He didn't know how Brother Lin was doing now. To be honest, he was really worried. Beside him, the dark red dragon also walked out and shook his head with a sigh. The northern demon asked, "Have you found him?" The dark red dragon said, "No, I can't contact him." However, Saint Mubai and the others had already deduced that his life was not in danger. This was probably the best result. As for where that kid was, they still didn't know. "Why? It seems that you guys miss me a lot." At this moment, a faint voice sounded. The dark red dragon was shocked. Damn, who is it? His dragon blood surged and he was ready to attack at any time. The northern demon exclaimed, "Brother Lin, is that you?" "Yes, it's me." The void in front of him split open, and a figure walked out. The northern demon was happy, but the dark red dragon was puzzled. "Wait, who knows if it's a liar? Kid, show me your 9-yang divine body and great dragon sword soul. You've become more cautious after not seeing you for a few days in Ruffian Dragon." In front of him, Lin Xian smiled. The 9-yang divine body bloomed, and the great dragon sword soul rumbled. The blood in the dark red dragon's body also surged. He said, "It's really you. I knew you wouldn't die." He rushed forward, and so did the northern demon. They were too happy. "Of course I'm fine. By the way, where's Ryu?" Lin Xian asked. Chapter 34-26. Lin Xian knew that his whereabouts had been exposed along the way. Moreover, he had encountered many probes along the way. However, he had concealed his aura, and with the cover of the great sage of the Black Mountain, he had arrived at the Langia Star in a dangerous situation. After arriving at the Langia Star, he heaved a sigh of relief. Yen Ryu had already returned. He had originally wanted to stay here, but the Langia Star had been surrounded. Thus, the two protectors beside her forcibly pulled her away. So that was the case. Lin Xian nodded. However, he was relieved to know that Yen Ryu was fine. "Let's go and meet Saint Mubai." They quickly soared into the sky. When they saw the main hall, Saint Mubai and the others screamed, "Lin Xian, you're finally back." They finally heaved a sigh of relief. They had already heard the news of Yen Nanshan's death, but if Lin Xian died, the loss would be even greater. They did not expect that Lin Xian had finally returned safely. That was great. Immediately, the Vermilion Bird Palace's palace master and the elders arrived. When they saw this scene, they burst out laughing. "The heavens are helping me. Quickly strengthen the defense and seal off the news. No one is allowed to spread the news of Lin Xian. Those who violate the order will be killed without mercy." The Langia Palace lord immediately gave the order. Next, the Langia Palace held a banquet. The main character of the banquet was naturally Lin Xian. Lin Xian was their greatest reliance now. He was powerful and talented. His future was limitless. More importantly, he had brought back the great sage's Dharma power and solved the crisis of the Langia Star. It could be said that the entire Langia Star was excited and worshipped Lin Xian. However, at this moment an old man spoke. "Rumor has it that you killed Yin Nantian. Is that true?" As soon as he said that, the surrounding people stopped talking. Everyone held their breaths and stared at Lin Xian with wide eyes. Not good. The dark red divine dragon cursed inwardly. Oh no! Saint Mu Bai also frowned. He said that these were just rumors and should not be taken seriously. Is that so? What a pity. I originally thought that Hall Master Lin had killed Yan Nantian and obtained his inheritance. He initially wanted to see what the succession of a martial monarch was like. The old man shook his head and didn't say anything else. After that, the atmosphere of the banquet became a little strange, so it ended early. Lin Xian gave the great sage's Dharma idol to the Langya star, so that they could use it to suppress the demonic qi on the Langya star. As for him, he returned to the 8th hall, because now, that place was his territory. The North Fae and the dark red divine dragon had also arrived at the 8th palace. They had been assigned as vice palace masters. However, they were not too excited. This title meant nothing to them. After entering the 8th palace, the dark red divine dragon set up a formation to isolate everything. Did you really kill Yan Nantian, brat? You really killed him? The North Fae was also very curious. This was because the news outside was spreading like wildfire. Facing the two, Lin Xian had nothing to hide. He said, "That's right, I did kill Yan Nantian." The two of them sucked in a cold breath. The North Fae asked, "Did Yan Nantian not revive? He had a martial monarch regeneration talisman." Lin Xian said, "I've killed him many times and used up all his martial monarch regeneration talismans. This time he's completely dead." The dark red divine dragon asked, "Where's the inheritance? Did you obtain the great emperor's inheritance?" He was too excited. However, Lin Xian shook his head. No, the inheritance of a martial monarch wasn't that easy to get. You'd probably have to have a supreme opportunity. Otherwise, you wouldn't be able to get it. After I killed Yan Nantian, the inheritance of martial monarch Hongwu flew away on its own. What? That's what happened. The dark red divine dragon and the North Fae were stunned. They then sighed. They knew that Lin Xian wouldn't lie to them. What a pity. That was the inheritance of a martial monarch. If you could get it, your chances of becoming a martial monarch would be much higher. It's useless. The inheritance of a martial monarch didn't acknowledge you. Even if you were the great sage, you wouldn't be able to get it. So there was nothing to regret. Lin Xian shook his head. He didn't take this matter to heart. However, the North Fae frowned. We believe in this matter. But if he were to say it out loud, no one would believe him. Yes, he thought that the Langya star was very reliable. But now, at the banquet, someone was asking about this matter. Obviously, these people were jealous of the inheritance of a martial monarch. Do you think that the Langya star will take action? Lin Xian was silent. He had just helped the Langya star suppress the demonic energy. These people wouldn't be so ungrateful, right? Kid, you don't know that the Langya star isn't an iron bucket. There are many factions inside. Especially now, there are so many strong enemies outside. Some living fossils under the dragon vein are about to awaken. Maybe 1 or 2 of them have already woken up. On the surface, the palace master was powerful and could manage everything. However, he couldn't interfere with those living fossils at all. In the end, he might even be a mere figurehead. So if a living fossil wanted to snatch it, the Langya palace master and Saint Mu Bai wouldn't be able to do anything. Hearing this, Lin Xian was silent. He didn't expect such a thing to happen. However, after thinking about it, he said that there were more strong enemies outside. Dragon Valley, 8-Wind Palace, and those were all looking for him. There was also Vermilion Bird Palace. So it wasn't safe outside. It was better to stay on the Langya star. You said it yourself. Only some people are jealous. There are also some who will protect us. So it won't be easy for those people to make a move. The North Fae and the dark red divine dragon nodded. Since Lin Xian said so, they would settle down here for the time being. They would go out when the situation outside calmed down. However, 3 days later, someone came to invite Lin Xian for tea. It was someone from the second palace. Lin Xian frowned at this invitation. He didn't know anyone from the second palace. He only knew a few people like Saint Mu Bai. As for the people from the second palace, he really didn't know. My elders said that I must invite Palace Master Lin. Otherwise, I'll be punished and face the wall for 100 years. So please go, Palace Master Lin. Outside the door, a little boy insisted. It seemed that he wouldn't leave if Lin Xian didn't go. What should I do? Kid, do you want to go? Lin Xian's eyes flickered. Then he said, Okay, I'll see what they have up their sleeves. My two friends also wanted to go with us. The little boy said, Sure, Palace Master Lin can bring any friends. The little boy led the way happily. Lin Xian and the rest followed behind. The Langia star was full of Langia Palace's forces. So the distance between the second palace and the eighth palace was quite far. The spirit boat flew for half a day before they arrived at the second palace. Chapter 34:27. In the second hall, the cloud mist immortal vines emitted a brilliant glow. The mountains seemed to have split the heavens and earth apart, giving off a magnificent aura. Waterfalls cascaded down from the mountains like the Milky Way, hanging upside down from the 9 heavens. It was a spectacular sight. Just as they approached, 2 figures instantly rushed out from the mountain range below and shouted coldly, You're right. Stop, who are you? The 2 people were wearing armor and had powerful auras. They were obviously mountain guards. The boy said, It's me. I'm here on the Elder's orders to invite Hallmaster Lin. It turned out to be Hallmaster Lin. The 2 guards in front cupped their fists respectfully when they saw Lin Xian, and made an inviting gesture. Lin Xian and the others followed the boy and entered the mountains and rivers below. They landed on a platform that was cut in the middle of the mountains. There were many spirit flowers and spirit herbs on it, and it was indeed a good place to live. However, after they settled down, Lin Xian and the others waited for 2 days, but no one came to see them. The dark red dragon was impatient. Damn, what's the meaning of this? Are they messing with us? Lin Xian also frowned. The northern demon also said coldly, What's going on? Are they trying to intimidate us? Indeed, they were invited, but the owner of this place refused to see them and left the place cold for 3 days. Anyone would be angry if that happened. Since they're not coming, let's go. Lin Xian stood up and prepared to leave. However, at that moment, a group of people flew over from afar. The leader was a man who looked like a young master. He held a folding fan and walked over with a smile. Hallmaster Lin, sorry for the disrespect. Our elder had something to do and was delayed. Please don't blame us, Hallmaster Lin. Our Hallmaster sent me to accompany you, Hallmaster Lin. The people around him were also smiling, but he didn't know if it was an illusion, but he felt that the smiles in their eyes were not very friendly. No, I have something to do too. Let's talk about tea later. Lin Xian prepared to leave. However, the young man with the folding fan said, Hallmaster Lin, that's not very good. Since you're already here, why don't you stay for a while longer? Otherwise, we'll have come for nothing. Hearing that, the dark red dragon sneered. Who do you think you are? How dare you compare yourself to us? You came for nothing, but didn't we come for nothing too? You're just a little disciple. Are you unhappy that you came for nothing? But who are we? We have 2 deputy hallmasters and a hallmaster of the 8th hall. We've waited here for 3 days and nights. Do you think we're happy? Damn it, are you playing with us? Come fight the dark red dragon. Upon hearing these words, the faces of the surrounding people darkened. Did this mean that Palace Master Lin was not giving face to the second hall? Face is earned. Since you don't want to give me face? If that's the case, aren't you thinking too much by asking me to give you face? Lin Xian's face darkened as well. A cold glint flashed in his eyes. Hee, Hall Leader Lin. Our second hall is not a place you can come and go as you please. The young man with a fan let out a hollow laugh. You. Looks like you don't know what's good for you. The Crimson Divine Dragon also lost his temper. He was originally an arrogant fellow, not to mention that he was from the Divine Dragon clan. Why would he care about these people? Lin Xian didn't say anything, but he knew what was going on. These people had lured them here, but no one came to see them. After they left, they didn't let them leave. They were obviously putting them under house arrest. He instantly understood what the other party was planning. It looked like some people were too greedy and coveted the great emperor's inheritance. Hearing what the dark red dragon said, the young man said coldly, We the second hall, don't fight easily. However, we the second hall, have our own rules. Not everyone can challenge us. Everyone, please be patient. At this moment, a few figures flew over from afar. When they saw the figures, the surrounding people quickly bowed respectfully. Greetings, Elder. After they landed, they said with a smile, Hall Master Lin, it's a misunderstanding. You haven't seen us for a few days. What's there to misunderstand? The dark red dragon snorted. The people from the second hall didn't get angry. Among them, the leader was an elder who looked young. He said, Hall Master Lin, didn't you bring the great sage Dharma idol? It did suppress a part of the demonic chi. However, there's still a part that's hidden too deep. We can't communicate with it at the moment. Therefore, we would like to borrow Hall Master Lin's great spear of destruction. We'll use it to draw out the remaining demonic chi and suppress it together. Oh, this. Lin Xian frowned. Was he thinking too much? He said, All right, I'll go with you. Hall Master Lin, you don't have to do this personally. Hall Master Lin, you've just returned from outside. You must be tired. Hall Master Lin, you only need to rest here and hand the great spear of destruction to us. Hand it to you? Lin Xian frowned. The dark red dragon snorted. Kid, don't do that. Who knows what they're planning? Hall Master Lin, you're thinking too much. I'm here. Don't you believe me? At this moment, an old man stood out. Seeing this person, the northern demon and Anhong both exclaimed in surprise because they recognized this person. This person was one of the experts who had followed Sage Mubai to bring them back from the Void Ocean. They didn't expect him to be here too. Could it be true? Lin Xian said. Where's Elder Mubai? If he's here, I'll lend it to you. Hall Master Lin, I'm here. Seems like shopkeeper Lin is thinking too much. Sage Mubai descended. Damn, he's here. Could this old man be a fake? The dark red dragon took a closer look, but didn't find anything strange. The northern demon frowned as well. Lin Xian was shocked. Could it be that I'm thinking too much? All right, I'll lend it to you then. Since the other party was here to borrow a Dharma treasure to suppress the demonic chi, he didn't think too much. Therefore, he took out the great spear of destruction and gave it to Sage Mubai and the others. Those people laughed. Don't worry, Hall Master Lin. Just wait here for a while. We'll return it within 7 days. Then, the few of them quickly rose into the air. Hall Master Lin, please. The young man with a folding fan said and gestured for him to leave. Lin Xian said, There's no need. I'll go back first. I'll come back when the time comes. He immediately activated the teleportation array and left quickly. However, after waiting for 7 days, no one returned the great spear of destruction. There wasn't even an explanation. This made Lin Xian frown. Damn it, what's wrong with these guys? Could it be that they don't want to give it to us anymore? The dark red dragon muttered. The northern demon said, Perhaps they haven't succeeded in communicating with the demonic chi. But that's not right. Even if they haven't succeeded, they should have said something, right? They looked at Lin Xian. Kid, what do you think we should do? Chapter 34-28. Lin Xian stood up. I'll go look for Saint Mubai. He leaped into the air. The others followed him. The dark red divine dragon and the northern demon followed him. They activated the array formation and headed to Saint Mubai's cave. When they arrived, Saint Mubai was surprised. Why are you here instead of resting? Is there something wrong? The dark red divine dragon said. Old man, you said it well. You borrowed our great spear of destruction and said you would return it in 7 days. Why are you acting like nothing happened? Let me ask you, where is the great spear of destruction? What great spear of destruction? Saint Mubai was stunned. I've never seen it before. How is that possible? Damn it, you're not thinking of taking the great spear of destruction for yourself, are you? Saint Mubai frowned. I've been discussing things with the Palace Master and the others for the past few days. Palace Master Lin will know if you check. Did something happen to Palace Master Lin? Lin Xian furrowed his brows and recounted the events that had transpired. Saint Mubai's expression changed. Damn the second palace. How dare they impersonate me? I'll take you there. No need. Since it's not you, Saint Mubai, I know what's going on. I can deal with this matter myself. Lin Xian's eyes emitted a cold light. It seemed that someone had actually set their sights on him. Since that was the case, he didn't mind showing off his strength. With that, Lin Xian left. The dark red divine dragon and the northern demon followed him. They frowned and said, "It seems that we've been deceived. Yes, it's not Saint Mubai at all. Could it be that someone else is impersonating him to steal the great spear of destruction? Needless to say, it must be the people from the second palace. Damn it, isn't the second palace too bold? The great spear of destruction was a sacred weapon, and a world-famous murderous weapon. If we can get it, our strength will increase greatly. Someone must be targeting us. We tried so hard to prevent them from asking about the great emperor's inheritance, but we didn't expect them to target the great spear of destruction. Kid, you can't be soft this time. Otherwise they'll think we're easy to bully." The dark red dragon gnashed its teeth. Lin Xian snorted coldly. "Of course. I'll let them know that I, Lin Xian, won't let them take my things so easily." They flew all the way to the area of the second hall. "Who was it?" The two guards coldly shouted again. However, Lin Xian didn't pay any attention to them. Instead, he directly rushed in. Someone was trying to force their way in. The two guards were shocked. The Northern Devil said, "This is the 8th Palace Master. He has come here for business." The 8th Palace Master. When the two of them heard this, they were stunned. They realized that it was indeed Lin Xian who had come. "Please let us inform them." "No, I'll go by myself." Lin Xian immediately flew off into the distance. When the two guards saw this scene, their faces changed drastically, and they hurriedly reported the matter. Soon, a few figures rushed out of the second hall. Hallmaster Lin. These people were the ones from before. The one leading them was the young man with the folding fan. "Hallmaster Lin, why have you come to my second hall in such a hurry?" The young man with the folding fan asked with a smile. "Oh, you sure know how to pretend. What do you want? You took our great spear of destruction. Of course, we're here to take it back." The dark red divine dragon snorted coldly. The young man with the folding fan was stunned. The dark red divine dragon yelled, "Damn, aren't you too shameless? 7 days ago, a group of elders borrowed our great spear of destruction here. How dare you say that this didn't happen?" "Oh, I'm sorry about what happened a few days ago. I've been too busy recently. I'll have to ask about this matter. Hallmaster Lin, I'll lead you to rest." "No need." Lin Xian stood in the void and said coldly, "I'll go and ask about it first." The young man with the folding fan turned into a stream of light and rushed into the distance. After about 2 hours he returned and sighed. "Oh, Hallmaster Lin, I'm so sorry. You came at such a bad time. Our elder Hunyuan is in seclusion now. Therefore, I don't know how Hallmaster Lin's weapon is. However, Hallmaster Lin, you don't have to be anxious. Wait for some time. When our elder comes out of seclusion, I think you can ask him then." Seclusion? The North Demon's expression changed. It was obvious that the young man was trying to deny it. The dark red divine dragon's temper was much more irritable than the North Demon's. Therefore, he immediately became angry. "Damn it, do you think we're fools? What? Your elder wants to take our great spear of destruction. You really don't know what's good for you. Where is he in seclusion? I'll kill him with one slap." As the dark red divine dragon spoke, the surrounding situation changed. The expressions of the people from the second hall also changed. The young man with the folding fan also frowned. "I think you'd better calm down. Some things can't be said carelessly. Although you're the deputy hallmaster, you're only from the 8th hall. Compared to the second hall, you're too weak. If you want to behave atrociously in the second hall, you'd better find out the situation of the entire Langyastar before you decide whether to make a move." The young man with the folding fan said arrogantly. He was indeed very confident. The entire Langyastar was filled with people from the Langya Palace. However, it was divided into many regions. Lin Xian and the others were only from the 8th hall. It could be said that the 8th hall's power in the entire Langyastar was relatively small, and could not be compared to the second hall. Although these people were the hallmasters and deputy hallmasters, in terms of real power, they were not even comparable to an elder from the second hall. This was the difference between the second hall and the 8th hall. In the entire Langyastar, The second hall was probably only slightly weaker than the first hall. They did not care about the rest. Therefore, in their opinion, no one would dare to behave atrociously in the second hall. Is that so? Looks like you're really courting death. The dark red dragon sneered and waved his dragon claw, directly grabbing forward. You're courting death. The young man with the folding fan was also furious. He waved the folding fan in his hand, and a terrifying fragment of the order rushed out, bringing with it a ray of light that lit up half the sky like the sun. Boom. The ray of light blocked the dark red divine dragon's dragon claw. The violent energy caused terrifying cracks to appear in the surrounding void. You're quite strong, but try this again. The dark red divine dragon's dragon blood surged and instantly attacked again, directly tearing apart the ray of light. The dragon claw directly grabbed the young man's body, and with a strong grip, the young man's bones cracked and cracked. Ah! The young man with the folding fan let out a miserable cry. Damn it! How dare you hurt our young master? The surrounding people's faces changed. The young man with the folding fan was the descendant of an elder, and had a noble status. If anything happened to him, they would not be able to bear the consequences. Haha, looks like we've caught a powerful person. Very well, if you want him to live, obediently do as we say. Chapter 34-29. Lead the way. Go to that Elder Hunyuan's place of seclusion. Otherwise, I'll kill him directly and destroy his soul. As the dark rainbow divine dragon said this, the killing intent on its body became stronger. Lin Xian stood there, and did not make a move at all. There was no need for him to deal with such a small character. The surrounding warriors looked at each other. For a moment, they were in a dilemma. At this moment, the young man with the folding fan held by the dragon claw said with difficulty, "Bring them there." "All right, follow me." After the warriors of the second hall heard this, they led the way. They passed through the tall mountains and came to a quiet place. The aura here was completely different from the outside. A few mountains stood there, forming a formation. It was very exquisite. Between the mountains and forests, there were spirit springs and waterfalls. Clouds and mist filled the air. The spiritual energy here was much denser than the outside world. This was really a treasure land. It seemed that it was indeed the place of a certain elder. "Elder Hunyuan, get out here." The dark rainbow divine dragon roared. Its voice was like thunder that echoed in the 9 heavens. The surrounding void shattered, the birds and beasts in the surroundings flew away, and the waterfalls between the mountains flowed back. However, there was still no one around. It was as if there was no one here at all. Seeing this scene, the dark rainbow divine dragon sneered. "You want to be a coward? Fine, I'll smash this treasure land and turn it into a land of death." Many fragments of Dharma power rushed out of the dark rainbow divine dragon's body, and lightning surged. The wind and clouds changed. It looked like it really wanted to tear down the treasure land. The surrounding warriors who followed to the second hall all changed their expressions, and their scalps went numb. Who were these people? Weren't they too ruthless? Stop. At this moment, a few figures rushed out from the mountains in the distance. They brought with them a powerful aura, and a cold voice sounded. "Who dares to cause trouble in the second hall? Get out!" His voice was full of majesty. Was someone finally here? The dark rainbow divine dragon sneered. "I'm not afraid that you won't come out. I'm the deputy hall master of the 8th hall. Our hall master Lin is here to see Elder Hunyuan." The North Demon stood out and said loudly, "Hall master Lin?" The experts who came frowned. Their eyes flashed, and one of them said coldly, "Elder Primordial Chaos was in seclusion and couldn't see anyone right now. Hall master Lin, you should go back and wait." Umph. Lin Xian smiled. Was it because they couldn't meet him, or because they didn't dare to meet him? A dignified elder actually used despicable means to snatch my weapon. Now that I've come looking for you, you know you're in the wrong and don't dare to come and see me? He was truly shameless to the extreme. How dare you? Courting death. The surrounding experts were all enraged. "Hall Master Lin, I respect you as the 8th Hall Master, which is why I gave you face and spoke nicely to you. But remember, this is the second hall's territory. It's not a place where you can behave atrociously. The strength of your 8th hall is far too lacking compared to our second hall. Not even a tenth of us. You don't have the right to be arrogant in front of me. Right now, we'll allow you to leave safely. Otherwise, if we were to really fight, I'm afraid that you, Hall Master Lin, would lose all face. A few of them sneered, not taking Lin Xian seriously at all. Because it was just as they said. The second hall was so powerful that the eighth hall was nothing in their eyes. Kid, don't waste your breath on them. Just fight your way in and drag that elder Hunyuan out. The dark red dragon gritted his teeth. He had long known that these people were up to no good. Hearing this, the surrounding people's faces changed. Elder Hunyuan was not an ordinary elder. He had an extremely honorable status. The other party's words were obviously a slap to the second hall's face. At this moment, a figure suddenly appeared on the mountain peak in the distance. It was a woman in white. She looked like a fairy from the 9 heavens, but her voice was extremely emotionless. You really don't know the difference between life and death. You really dare to behave atrociously in my second palace? Men, chop them up and feed them to the dogs. The woman stood with her hands behind her back, looking at the sky with endless arrogance in her eyes. She was Elder Hunyuan's granddaughter. Hearing the woman in white's words, the surrounding experts of the second hall suddenly burst out with unparalleled light. They were about to fight. The North Demon shouted, "How dare you? Although the second hall is powerful, do you really dare to attack us? Our Hall Master Lin is a peerless genius and the benefactor of the Langya Star. If you dare to touch him, do you want to rebel?" His voice was filled with endless majesty. For a moment, the surrounding people were stunned. The surrounding experts looked at each other in dismay. The woman in white on the mountain peak sneered. Hall Master Lin had rushed here and was very tired. He did not want to be taken advantage of by the 2 deputy hall masters, and turned into a puppet by casting an illusion. The person who came killed the 2 deputy hall masters and rescued Hall Master Lin from the illusion. The woman in white revealed a sinister smile. What a bunch of idiots. She had many reasons for wanting to kill people. It seemed that from now on, there would be 3 more wandering souls. Who cares if you are Lin Wudi or a peerless genius? If you dare to behave atrociously in the second hall, there will only be one outcome, death. Damn it, what a vicious woman. The North Demon also cursed. The dark red divine dragon roared. Kid, do you see that? These people are too despicable. They obviously want to take away our things and kill us. If you don't attack, you will really become a wandering soul. Attack. All right, I didn't expect it to come to this. However, you asked for it. Lin Xian's eyes shone with a cold light. The sword qi on his body was like a mountain that shot into the sky. From afar, it seemed that there were dozens of giant mountains in this treasured land. Attack. In the distance, the woman in white also roared. Immediately, the surrounding experts took a deep breath as if they had made some kind of decision. They had to attack quickly. A bolt of lightning streaked across the void and charged forward with a destructive aura. The dark red divine dragon and the North Demon gasped. Damn it, a sage. Damn it, kid. It's up to you now. We will cheer for you from behind. Damn it, the second hall is too sinister. They had sent a sage to attack as soon as they arrived. It was obvious that they were going to kill them. However, they were not worried. Although the 2 of them were only half-saints, they were qualified to fight against a sage if they attacked with their full strength. More importantly, the person standing in front of them was Lin Xian. They would be very safe if he attacked. In the face of this terrifying lightning, Lin Xian reached out with his golden hand. The 5 elemental laws revolved around it as he grabbed the lightning with his palm. Then he exerted force. The lightning shattered into pieces. Since you want to die, I will fulfill your wish. Lin Xian's body was filled with killing intent. Chapter 34:30. Damn it, just like the rumors say, he has become a sage. The experts from the second hall sucked in a breath of cold air. The weaker ones immediately ran away, while the stronger ones also acted as if they were facing a great enemy. He was a legendary peerless genius. Now that he had become a sage, they had to treat him with caution. No matter how powerful he is, he's just a new sage. At most, he's on the same level as us. But we're much more experienced than he is. Moreover, We have 3 sages on our side. He definitely won't be able to stop us. The surrounding powerhouses said coldly. Indeed, there were 3 sages of the first heaven and more than 10 half-sages. They formed a formation in the distance as if to prevent the other party from escaping. Buzz. The first sage rushed up. It was the lightning sage who had attacked earlier. At this moment, the lightning on his body became even more violent, turning into countless lightning beasts and condensing into a lightning hammer. It descended from the sky with terrifying laws. Under the attack, it roared crazily. It was a scene of destruction. The dark red dragon gasped. Damn it, these people are too ruthless. They're all fatal attacks. The North Demon's face was also gloomy. Damn it, how dare they attack one of our own? These people are really ruthless. Lin Xian sneered. Fatal attack? However, it was still not enough. He only threw out a slap, and it shattered the lightning god's hammer. Then he slapped the sage in half. Boom. Saint blood spilled out in an instant, piercing through the surrounding void. The surrounding people felt their scalps go numb. That combat strength is too strong. He can shatter a sage of the same level with a single attack? Attack together and kill him. The woman in white in the distance shouted angrily, her eyes filled with merciless coldness. As soon as she said that, the 3 sages attacked. One of them turned into an ancient heavenly court and descended from the sky. The thunder on it was terrifying. The laws of the galaxy appeared on the other person's body. The stars in the sky turned into a small universe and shrouded over. The last person roared at the sky. An abyss appeared under his feet. The laws in it kept circling as if they were going to swallow him up. The 3 first heaven sages attacked mercilessly, wanting to completely suppress Lin Xian. Lin Xian roared, looking down at all the mountains. Countless mountains appeared under his feet, densely packed together. A disdainful aura swept across the surroundings. Lin Xian was like the divine king, looking down at the people below. Damn it, this aura. What was going on? In the distance, the 3 sages instantly froze. Their eyes widened, and their bodies began to tremble uncontrollably. The surrounding half-saints fell to their knees with a thud. They were like ancient subjects worshipping the heavens and earth. Pung pung pung. In the end, the 3 first heaven saints also knelt on the ground, although they only knelt on one knee. However, this scene was simply too shocking. The faces of the 3 saints were also filled with terror. They roared at the sky, wanting to break through this aura. However, they used too much strength, and many cracks appeared on their bodies. Blood flowed down, but none of them could stand up under the gaze of the mountains. Lin Xian, on the other hand, was like a celestial emperor, walking in the sky. With one step, the terrifying sacred domains of the 3 saints shattered. The 3 of them also vomited blood. With one step he injured a saint. After 3 steps, the 3 saints fell there, having completely lost their ability to fight. Ha 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 ha, damn bastard. How dare you attack us? How does it feel now? Does it feel good? The dark red divine dragon immediately leaped over and slapped the 3 sages' mouths. The sky full of dragon shadows slapped the faces of the 3 saints, making buzzing sounds. The surrounding second palace dancers were stunned. They looked at this scene in disbelief. The saints were slapped in the face. This scene was simply like a dream. Damn it, stop. I'm going to kill you. The 3 saints roared crazily, but under Lin Xian's feet, they could only float and could not resist. The dark red dragon sneered and shouted, "How dare you shout at me? It seems that you really don't know what kind of situation you're in." At this point, his dragon claws exerted even more force. Blood flowed from the corners of the 3 saints' mouths. However, the bodies of the saints were not something that the dark red dragon could destroy. Therefore, after hitting them for a long time, the dark red dragon's hands hurt. The faces of the 3 saints did not change. Damn it, old thing, your bones are so hard. The dark red dragon roared. I'll stomp you to death. As he said that, he slammed his hands and feet on the faces of the 3 saints, and his dragon tail kept lashing out. At the same time he said, "The 2 of you come over and try. It feels good to slap the saints' faces." Lin Xian glanced at them, and did not make a move. However, the northern demon stood up. "I'll try to." He was already angry. These saints wanted to kill him before. How could he hold back now? He rolled up his sleeve and slapped out. His palm turned into a divine tree and slapped the saint's face. He immediately felt a huge shock. At the same time he exclaimed, "Damn it, it feels so good to slap the saints' faces. I seem to be addicted." They attacked left and right, and the sound of the collision was like thunder. The three saints were so angry that their bodies trembled, and white smoke rose from their heads. "Ah, damn it. I'm going to kill you. Let go of me if you dare, and I'll tear you into pieces." They were really mad. As saints, they were high and mighty, looking down on everything. Everyone looked up to them. But now two half-saints, two ants, were slapping their faces. As for them, they were actually unable to fight back. This caused them to even have the heart to die. The young man with the folding fan was also terrified when he saw this scene. Previously, he thought that he was the most miserable, but now, it seemed that he was much better. However, he then screamed in pain. The dark red dragon dragged him over with a slap. "And you dared to treat us like this before. Have a taste of my dragon claws." As he spoke, he smashed the young man's face. "How dare you?" The woman in white screamed in the distance. Her voice was very sharp. The dark red dragon and the north demon both stopped. They glanced at each other, sneered, and continued to slap the faces. "Damn it, someone kill them." The woman in white screamed crazily. Powerful figures seemed to have appeared in the surroundings. It seemed that more experts from the second hall had arrived. The dark red dragon hurriedly called out to the north demon and retreated again. This time Lin Xian made his move. He slapped out a large golden hand and directly smashed the faces of the three saints. The bodies of the three saints were also smashed into pieces. The three saints were originally angry and wanted to vent their anger, but after Lin Xian's slap, they lost their temper. Lin Xian was too powerful. Although they were all saints of the first heaven, his strength was far beyond theirs. They even suspected that it would be easy for him to kill them. However, it seemed that he did not do that. After he smashed them into pieces, he directly summoned 3 5-element mountains and suppressed them to the ground. In the next moment, Lin Xian raised his head and looked at the woman in white in front of him. A cold light appeared in his eyes. Chapter 34-31. The woman in white's heart trembled when she was enveloped by Lin Xian's gaze. "Stop him. Take him down," she screamed, and the powerhouses around her moved out one after another. Lin Xian shouted coldly, turned into a ray of sword qi, and charged forward. Wherever he passed, the saints who attacked were all sent flying. In the next moment, Lin Xian arrived at the woman in white. In front of him, the woman in white was scared out of her wits, and her scalp went numb. "He's too powerful. So many powerhouses can't stop him? Damn it, are you all trash? Hurry up and kill him," the woman in white screamed. Lin Xian snorted coldly. "You still don't know what's good for you?" He reached out his golden palm and grabbed her neck. "No, damn it, how dare you attack me? My grandfather is Elder Primordial Chaos. You're dead meat if you attack me." As she said that, she retreated while countless rays of light rushed out of her body, forming a battlesuit that enveloped her delicate body. "She's Elder Primordial Chaos granddaughter. That's great." Lin Xian's lips curled into a smile. "If I capture this woman, I'm not afraid that old thing won't come out." He moved forward courageously, blotting out the sky and the sun, completely sealing off the space. The woman in white could not escape at all. "Damn it, break." The woman in white opened her mouth and spat out a jade-green saber. The terrifying saber light carried nomological fragments as it tore through the void. She wanted to shatter the seal on the palm. However, the jade-green saber struck the void and caused an earth-shattering collision. However, the backlash caused the long blade to shatter with a loud bang and turn into powder. Oofed. The woman in white also spat out a mouthful of blood, and her face was filled with fear. Who is this person? He's too powerful. Her shocking attack didn't even cause a ripple in the hall. Instead, the power caused her to be injured. She wanted to scream and ask for help, but she could not make any sound. A hand reached out and grabbed her neck. It sealed all of her power. At that moment, she was lifted into the air like a doll. How dare you go against me like this? You can't even withstand a single blow. Lin Xian sneered. He exerted a bit of force and countless tiny cracks appeared on the white-clothed woman's body. Blood instantly dyed her white dress red. The white-clothed woman's face was filled with terror. She couldn't believe that the other party actually dared to attack her. Would the other party kill her? She didn't know. She was so scared that her whole body was trembling. When the surrounding second hall experts saw this, they screamed like crazy. Damn it, stop it. They were really crazy. They didn't expect the other party to be so bold. Lin Wudi, hurry up and release our young miss, or I'll tear you to pieces. Are you trying to make the second hall your enemy? Hee, Lin Xian sneered in the face of so many crazy roars. Where was that old dog Han Yuan? Tell him to come out. Otherwise, I will destroy her granddaughter's body and soul. At this point, Lin Xian's body emitted a terrifying killing intent, causing the surrounding people's scalps to go numb. They did not doubt that the other party would dare to do so. Sigh. At this moment, an old sigh was heard. Then, a mysterious array formation appeared on the ground between several huge mountains. Then, the array formation was torn apart, and an old man appeared on the array formation. Hall Master Lin. Why do you have to do this? After the old man came out, he shook his head and sighed. Greetings, Elder. The surrounding second hall experts bowed one after another. Lin Xian lowered his head and looked at the other party. You are Han Yuan? That's right, I am Han Yuan. If there's anything, we can talk about it. Don't hurt my granddaughter. Whoosh whoosh. The dark rainbow divine dragon and the north demon came to Lin Xian's side. Among them, the dark red divine dragon jumped out. You are Han Yuan? Then things will be easy. Hand over the great spear of destruction, and we will let your granddaughter go. Otherwise, your granddaughter will experience the feeling of living a life worse than death. Like an old monster, he laughed. How dare you? Damn it, how dare you? The surrounding second hall experts roared crazily. The old man also raised his head, and stars flickered in his eyes. The great spear of destruction was still in use. Hall Master Lin, don't be impatient. When it's finished, it will be returned. Nonsense. Lin Xian snorted coldly. I've already asked Saint Mubai. He doesn't need my great spear of destruction at all. However, you still refuse to return it. Do you think I don't know what you are thinking? You are wrong. We are not using the great spear of destruction to communicate with the demonic qi. But for you, Hall Master Lin, you are a peerless genius. The great spear of destruction is a ferocious item. If you keep it for a long time, it will affect your state of mind. Maybe you will become a demon in the end. That will be very bad for you. I am willing to fall into hell and use my remaining life to purify the great spear of destruction. What I am doing is a good thing in the world. Good your head. The dark red divine dragon jumped up and cursed. You are too fucking shameless. If you want to snatch our treasure, just say so. What do you mean by evolving the demonic qi and doing good things for the world? Do good, my foot. Do you believe that I won't split your old bones into two? The dark red divine dragon was really mad. The north demon's face was also gloomy. Lin Xian also shook his head and sneered. I have never seen someone as shameless as you. Today is really an eye-opener. But it seems that you don't intend to hand over the great spear of destruction. You don't intend to take your granddaughter's life either. Since that's the case, don't blame me. At this point, he exerted a little force. Immediately, the woman in white screamed in pain. More cracks appeared on her body. Her internal organs were completely shattered. However, under Lin Xian's control, she still maintained her human form. Her miserable screams made the scalps of the surrounding people tingle. Elder Hunyuan's face darkened. How dare you? An extremely terrifying light burst out from his eyes. His gaze was like a divine fire that instantly pierced through the void. Damn, he's attacking. The dark red divine dragon was startled and quickly retreated. However, Lin Xian was not afraid. He waved his sleeve, and the 5 elemental laws directly suppressed it. Boom. The sky collapsed and the earth cracked. The mountains and rivers shattered. This collision was really too terrifying. Lin Xian's face also changed. Then he used the stellar revolution to shift the force. Next to him, the space where the second hall was directly shattered. What? He blocked it. He actually blocked Elder Hunyuan's attack. How is that possible? They were really shocked. Elder Hunyuan was a second heaven sage. Moreover, he was extremely terrifying among the second heaven sages. A second heaven sage could almost suppress a first heaven sage with a raise of his hand. However, the scene in front of them was beyond their expectations. The other party had actually blocked the attack of a second heaven sage. And from the looks of it, he was not injured at all. Even Elder Hunyuan was stunned. Has the other party's combat strength already reached such a terrifying level? However, before he could think too much, Lin Xian's cold voice sounded. I see that you wanted to kill me with that attack just now. Since that's the case, don't blame me for being ruthless. A golden light appeared in Lin Xian's eyes. He directly used his eye technique on the woman in white. Ah! The woman in white screamed miserably. How could she block Lin Xian's eye technique? Chapter 34-32. Damn it, how dare you! Elder Primordial Chaos roared, and his power exploded, sweeping across the 9 heavens. At the same time, he shouted coldly, "Explode!" A rune appeared between the white-clothed woman's eyebrows, and then it exploded with a loud bang. The huge force directly tore the white-clothed woman into a bloody mist. Lin Xian was also enveloped by the power of the self-explosion. However, the 9-yang divine body released a powerful force that suppressed everything. The self-explosion of a half-saint was no threat to him at all. Whoosh! At this moment, the sky cracked open, and a black gourd appeared, completely collecting the white-clothed woman's bloody mist. Then it was grabbed by a woman. Elder Primordial Chaos was relieved. All the blood had been collected, and there was no threat to her life. It seemed that Elder Primordial Chaos had activated a defensive talisman that his granddaughter had left in her body, and then caused the white-clothed woman to self-explode. At the same time, another sage made a move and collected all the bloody mist produced by the white-clothed woman. Although it would greatly damage the white-clothed woman's vitality and foundation, it would at least save her life. Seeing that his granddaughter's life was finally not in danger, Elder Primordial Chaos heaved a sigh of relief. In the next moment, a shocking killing intent burst out from his eyes as he stared at Lin Xian and the other two. How dare you torture my granddaughter like this? I will let you taste 100 times, no, 10,000 times the pain. I will destroy your souls. More and more powerhouses from the second hall appeared in the sky. In addition to the woman with the black gourd, another figure appeared in the sky. It was a man wearing black battle armor, and he was very domineering as soon as he appeared. I will kill them. With a wave of his hand, countless murderous auras swept toward Lin Xian and the other two. Step back, I will deal with them, Lin Xian said to the dark red dragon and the other two. The two of them stepped back, and the dark red dragon activated the heaven-crippling chessboard, while the northern devil used the heaven-reaching divine wood to defend himself. Lin Xian roared and punched out. His punch shattered the 9 heavens, shattering all the murderous auras that filled the sky. Countless large cracks spread between heaven and earth. Do you think a mere early-stage second heaven sage can suppress me? What a joke. Let that old dog Primordial Chaos do it himself. Otherwise, you have no hope. How is that possible? So powerful? The black-armored man was also stunned. He was indeed a second heaven sage. He was only at the early stage of the second heaven, while Elder Primordial Chaos was at the late stage of the second heaven. However, even if he was in the early stage, he was not someone a first firmament saint could withstand. If he wanted to kill a saint in the late stage of the first firmament, it would be as easy as flipping his hand. Not to mention a brat who had just become a saint. But the result of the battle surprised him greatly. Could it be that the kid had some kind of magic treasure on him? Old dog Primordial Chaos, since you don't know what's good for you and tried to steal my treasure, don't blame me for taking it back myself. Lin Xian was also thoroughly enraged. At this moment, he attacked without any hesitation. Very well, let me see just how miraculous a legendary peerless genius like you is. The black-armored man stood up, his aura exploding. That was just a casual attack from me. Next up, I'll use my full strength. I'll let you know that even if you're a peerless genius, in the face of absolute strength, you'll still have to bow down. The black-armored man was extremely confident. He was like a black god of war, looking down on everyone. Although he was shocked by the scene just now, He had already calmed down. After he used his full strength, his opponent would definitely not be able to withstand it. Lin Xian laughed. How dare you talk about absolute strength in front of me? What a joke. I'll let you know that you're just a joke in front of me. With a cold shout, Lin Xian charged forward. He was like a golden sword that split the world. You're courting death. The black-armored man shouted coldly and pressed down with a palm. Suddenly, the black runes jumped and turned into a demonic mountain that descended from the sky. At this moment, everyone retreated in horror. Elder Primordial Chaos stomped his foot, and the government lit up. That was why no major destruction was caused. Otherwise, if the two of them had attacked, the second palace would have been reduced to ashes. Clang. An earth-shattering collision sounded. Lin Xian was sent flying, and the black palm also retreated. The two seemed to be evenly matched. Many people screamed at the sight of this. Previously, the black-armored man was careless and did not use his full strength, allowing Lin Xian to take advantage of the opportunity. But now, how could this be explained? The black-armored man had obviously used his full strength, but he could not kill Lin Xian in an instant. The two were evenly matched. This was too unbelievable. A young man who had just become a saint had combat strength comparable to an early-stage second heaven saint? Wasn't this too terrifying? As expected of someone who had two great inheritances. He was really heaven-defying. Many powerhouses felt their scalps go numb. The black-armored man also frowned. 5 elemental laws, no wonder you're so powerful. I didn't expect you to be able to cultivate the 5 elemental laws. Unfortunately, you're still going to die against me. Speaking of this, an extremely terrifying black light flashed in the black-armored man's eyes. In the next moment, the aura on his body skyrocketed. A ball of black flames surged out. Obviously, he had made up his mind to kill, because the other party was too terrifying. Since he had become an enemy of the second hall, he had to go out. Although the other party was a peerless genius and the future hope of the Langius Star, so what? Just as the dark red divine dragon had said, the Langius Star was not a monolithic piece of metal. If this kid cooperated and was willing to hand over the spear of great destruction, then it would be fine. But he was too reckless. But since the other party was so reckless, there was no need for such a genius to live. At this moment, the black-dressed woman next to him was also a disciple of the academy. He could be captured alive. Don't forget that he had 2 great inheritances. He might even know the whereabouts of the great emperor's inheritance. Obviously, they were all targeting Lin Xian, especially the great emperor's inheritance. How dare you guys target me? You really don't know what's good for you. Well, I'll let you see what I can do. The 5 elemental laws flew out from Lin Xian's body and turned into a 5 elemental divine sword that he held in his hand. He slashed out with the sword, sweeping in all directions. The terrifying sword intent caused the surrounding people to almost faint from fright. The black-armored man also roared angrily. The black flames on his body jumped and turned into a black long blade that slashed out. In an instant, the blade and the sword collided. Heaven and earth roared, and the power of the sea soared into the sky. This scene was too terrifying. It made the people of the second hall tremble in fear. Buzz buzz buzz. In the sky, countless array formations lit up, completely enveloping the second hall. It seemed that they wanted to isolate all auras to prevent others from coming to save Lin Xian. Chapter 34-33. Oh no, these people from the second hall are too despicable. They actually sealed the entire area. I'm afraid we can't escape. The dark red divine dragon's expression changed. However, an angry roar came from the front. They hurriedly looked forward, afraid that Lin Xian would be injured. But soon, they were stunned and then heaved a sigh of relief. The others screamed. That's impossible. That was because the one who was injured was not Lin Xian, but the black-armored man. The black-armored man's black armor was actually cut open. Not only that, there was an additional wound on his body, revealing deep white bones. He's injured. In the battle with Lin Xian, the black-armored man was injured. Moreover, within 4 or 5 moves he was injured. How could this Lin Xian be so powerful? That's impossible. The black-armored man roared crazily. He knew that the other party had a strong physique, powerful attacks, and had 2 great inheritances. But so what? The other party was at most a king in the first heaven. But at the second heaven? The difference in the laws of heaven and earth was enough to make up for those inheritances. Previously, in his opinion, Lin Xian's strength was largely due to the Spear of Destruction, a peerless weapon. Now that the other party did not have the Spear of Destruction, his combat strength would definitely be greatly reduced. No matter how strong he was, he would not be able to do anything to him. However, he realized that he was wrong. The other party was still incomparably powerful. A few simple sword strikes had broken through his defense. Seeing the other party's flustered and exasperated look, Lin Xian sneered. I told you, you're not qualified to talk about absolute power in front of me. It's already good enough that you can keep your life. Let that old dog Primordial Chaos do it. Otherwise, you won't be a match for him at all. What arrogance! Suddenly, the woman in the black dress made her move. She took out a black jade bottle and directly threw it out in the air. The black jade bottle was covered with Dao patterns. As soon as the laws appeared, they swept Lin Xian and kept him inside. In the next moment, the woman in the black dress held the jade screen and laughed. What peerless genius! You've been kept by me. In my black jade bottle, you'll turn into a pool of blood in less than half an hour. Oh no, another second heaven sage. The expressions of the dark red dragon and the north beast changed. Damn it, how despicable and shameless. You 2 saints of the second heaven actually attacked at the same time. Where is your face? The dark red divine dragon roared crazily. Northern demon also snorted coldly. How despicable. This brat is too strange. Moreover, he has a reputation as a peerless genius. For us 2 saints of the second heaven to attack him, it only shows that we take him seriously. Don't make a fuss because I will send you to the Yellow Springs record very soon. The 3 of you won't be lonely on the road to the Yellow Springs. The black-dressed woman raised her palm, and the laws quickly gathered. She was also an early-stage second heaven saint. If she wanted to kill the North Demon and the dark red divine dragon, it would be a piece of cake. Not good, prepare to break out. At the very least he had to find Mu Bai, or else Lin Xian would really be in danger. The dark rainbow dragon and the North Yao had made up their minds. They decided to break through. Humph, do you think you can leave? No one knows that you died here. The black-armored man sneered. He stomped his foot and suppressed the surroundings, sealing the surrounding space. Not good. She's too strong. We can't break through a second heaven saint. The North Demon frowned. The dark red divine dragon was also anxious. If you push me too far, I will die together with you. Ha 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 ha, die you 2 ants. The black-dressed woman reached out her hand, getting closer and closer to the dark red divine dragon. If she caught them, the 2 of them would not be able to escape. However, at this moment, the black jade bottle in her right hand suddenly exploded. The terrifying power caused half of the black-dressed woman's body to explode, turning her into a bloody mist. Ah! The black-dressed woman screamed crazily. Her left hand, which was reaching out, stopped in mid-air. What happened? The black-armored man was stunned. Mengnan turned his head. The surrounding people from the second hall gasped. Even Elder Hunyuan's eyelids twitched. Did something happen? You want to trap me with a broken bottle? You think too highly of yourself. Lin Xian flew out from the broken bottle, his body shining brightly. He was like a sun war god, his eyes filled with disdain. It seems like you have lived for too long, and don't know the changes in the world. Get lost. You are no match for me. If you dare to move, I will kill you. Lin Xian's eyes were filled with strong killing intent. You are courting death. The black-dressed woman's body recovered and she charged over crazily. The black-armored man also charged over. They did not believe that the 2 of them could not take down Lin Xian. Damn, how shameless. Fight me one-on-one if you dare. That's right. 2 second heavenly layer sages joining hands to deal with a young junior. You guys are really embarrassing yourselves. The North Demon and the dark red divine dragon roared, but it was to no avail. It was obvious that the 2 second heaven saints were determined to kill Lin Xian. Around them, the people from the second hall sneered. They knew that with 2 saints in the second heaven taking action, The other party would definitely die. Fire Spirit Heavenly Saber. The black armored man wielded a black flaming saber and struck out a terrifying saber light. As the laws of fire danced, it shook the heavens and earth. 9 revolutions of rain. The woman in the black dress continued to dance as endless nomological laws formed 9 black gourds that formed an array formation that enveloped Lin Xian. From the looks of it, he wanted to refine Lin Xian alive. Lin Xian used the Kuan Peng movement technique and dodged. At the same time, he waved his palm. Stellar transposition. The power of the 2 second heaven saints underwent a shocking change under his mystique. The terrifying black saber light carried an extremely strong power of laws. It did not attack Lin Xian but the black dress woman. The black dress woman's 9 black gourds enveloped the black armored man. In an instant, the 2 of them screamed and retreated crazily. Damn it, how dare you attack me? Damn it, aren't you trying to refine me? What's going on? The surrounding people were stunned. Why was Lin Xian fine? Their 2 saints had both been injured? This scene was too strange. Even the dark red divine dragon and the dark red divine dragon were stunned. He sucked in a breath of cold air. Oh my heavens, what kind of technique is this kid using? It was not the 9 sons' inheritance, nor was it the great dragon sword soul. Could it be that he had obtained something else? Perhaps it was a new mystique that Brother Lin had comprehended. The North Demon was also shocked. Below, Elder Hunyuan frowned. What are you 2 doing? Hurry up and take him down. Yes. The 2 of them took a deep breath, and their eyes shone with a cold light. This time, they separated a little. Once again, he unleashed the peerless divine ability from before and charged towards Lin Xian. The corners of Lin Xian's mouth curled up into a cold smile. Chapter 34-34. Star Shift. This time, Lin Xian shifted the attacks of the 2 to the bottom. Their target was Elder Primordial Chaos. Elder Primordial Chaos expression changed instantly. He slapped out with both palms, which transformed into 2 mountains that blasted towards the sky. Instantly, a terrifying energy rumbled. This power was too violent. It was equivalent to 3 saints in the second heaven fighting. The surrounding experts of the second hall were all sent flying. Many people turned into a bloody mist. Even the saints' bodies were shattered. Screams rang out. At the same time, they were extremely terrified. What happened? Did Lin Wudi attack their Elder Primordial Chaos? Elder Primordial Chaos shattered the storm that filled the sky and shouted coldly. Damn it, how dare the 2 of you attack me? What's going on? The black armored man and the black dressed woman in the sky were stunned. They were clearly attacking that kid. Why was Elder Primordial Chaos attacked? We didn't attack you. The 2 of them still wanted to explain. Lin Xian sneered. Can't you see? Old dog Primordial Chaos. Your subordinates don't like you and want to kill you so that they can take the opportunity to rise to the top. The people of the second hall are all so despicable and shameless. Therefore, it's not strange for your subordinates to betray you. What? As soon as these words were said, the surrounding second hall people were all stunned. Could it be that there was an internal conflict in the second hall? Elder Primordial Chaos' face was gloomy, but the black armored man and the black dressed woman's expressions changed. Damn kid, you're courting death. Elder, that's not what we meant. We don't have any intention of attacking you. Although they were both second heaven saints, they were only in the early stage. Elder Primordial Chaos was in the late stage. The gap between the 2 of them was very big. Even if the 2 of them joined forces, they couldn't withstand Elder Primordial Chaos attack. Therefore, the 2 of them didn't dare to act rashly. Elder Primordial Chaos naturally understood this point. He snorted coldly. Back down. This kid is too strange. I'll deal with him personally. At this point, the laws on his body also appeared. Not good. The dark rainbow divine dragon and the northern demon were nervous again. Lin Xian also frowned. He could clearly sense that the other party's aura and laws were much more terrifying than the black armored man and the other 2. Ordinary methods wouldn't be able to stop him. He wanted to take out the great dragon sword and have a peerless battle. Boom. Elder Hunyuan made her move. She blasted out an illusory palm. A terrifying power enveloped Lin Xian completely. All the hair on Lin Xian's body stood on end. With a roar of rage, he prepared to fight to the death. However, at this moment, the formation between the heaven and earth shattered. The void was torn apart as a finger pointed down. He tapped on the gigantic illusory palm, and instantly, the gigantic illusory palm was knocked back. In the next moment, boundless laws drifted out as a figure appeared before Lin Xian. Primordial chaos, primordial chaos, a cold primordial divine primordial. The North Demon Core Dark Red God Dragon heaved a sigh of relief. Great, someone finally came to save them. Lin Xian was also stunned because the person who came was none other than Saint Mu Bai. Saint Mu Bai was really shocked. To be honest, he couldn't believe that the people of the second hall would attack Lin Xian. And from the looks of it, they wanted to kill him. He couldn't believe it. Lin Xian not only solved the crisis of the Langyus Star, but he also joined the Langyus Star and received their full support. He was the future of the Langyus Star. But now, the people inside wanted to kill this hope. He couldn't believe it. He thought that Elder Primordial Chaos and the others were crazy. Saint Mabai's appearance was too sudden. Even Elder Primordial Chaos was stunned. This shouldn't be. They used a peerless array to isolate all auras. No one else could detect it. How did Old Man Mubai know? However, since the other party was here, he didn't continue to attack. Instead, he retracted his palm and said, "You have to ask Hall Master Lin about this. He was the one who came here for no reason at all, and even beat up my granddaughter. I'm already giving him a lot of face by not killing him immediately." Hearing this, Saint Mubai frowned and looked at Lin Xian. Lin Xian sneered. "How shameless! How dare he accuse me first? Who took my great spear of destruction? Who was it that coveted my inheritance? Who was it that came in and tried to kill me without distinguishing between right and wrong? Everything I did was merely a counterattack in self-defense. Is the second hall really trying to twist the truth and cover the truth?" Saint Mabai's face changed when he heard this. Great spear of destruction. When Lin Xian came to look for him previously, he felt that something was wrong. However, Lin Xian didn't let him take action at that time. He also felt that everyone was from the Langyus Star, and Lin Xian was now the hope of the Langyus Star. No one would attack him again. Perhaps it was a misunderstanding, so he didn't follow. However, after waiting for a long time, he felt a little uneasy, so he wanted to follow and take a look. However, when he came near the second hall, he found that the entire second hall was covered by a formation. He couldn't detect the aura inside. This made him feel that something was wrong. Therefore, he made a prompt decision to break the formation and kill his way in. He happened to see the scene just now. Therefore, he immediately took action. He really didn't expect that the people of the second hall would dare to attack Lin Xian. Moreover, they coveted Lin Xian's great spear of destruction. "Elder Mubai, this is a misunderstanding." The man in black armor walked up and said in a deep voice. The demonic aura on the great spear of destruction was too terrifying. Our Master Mubai was thinking for Hall Master Lin. So he brought it over to suppress the demonic aura to ensure Hall Master Lin's safety in the future. Indeed, the second hall had good intentions, but Hall Master Lin didn't seem to appreciate it. The woman in black also walked out. "Damn, you guys are still so shameless at this point." The dark red divine dragon was so angry that it cried out. "Who allowed you to seal it? Can't we find Saint Mu Bai to suppress the seal? Do we need you guys? We know who you are." That's right, the North Demon also took a step forward. "Even if there's really a problem with the Great Spear of Destruction, we can also ask Saint Mu Bai and the Langya Palace Lord to help. We have no interest in the second hall at all, so hurry up and hand over the Great Spear of Destruction now." Lin Xian sneered. "Elder Mubai, do you understand now why I have to take action? Some people are really too trashy and despicable, so I have to take action. Otherwise, the Langyus Star will be contaminated by these vermin." Hearing this, Saint Mu Bai's face darkened. He already understood what was going on. Therefore, he looked at Han Yuan. Chapter 34-35. Elder Han Yuan, please hand over the Great Spear of Destruction. Saint Mu Bai said coldly. As soon as he said that, the dark red divine dragon and the north demon heaved a sigh of relief. Fortunately, Saint Mubai was on their side. The people of the second hall changed their expressions. Elder Hunyuan's gaze also darkened. Unfortunately, the great spear of destruction is not in my hands. It's not in your hands? Then who has it? Saint Mubai frowned. Elder Hunyuan said. It's in the hands of our left guardian. The left guardian of the second hall. Saint Mubai frowned. That was an existence of a higher level than Elder Hunyuan. He was very powerful in the second hall. However, so what if he was powerful? He would protect Lin Xian today. Therefore, he said coldly, "Where's the left guardian? Ask him to come out and see me." Unfortunately, the left guardian left the Langya star some time ago and seemed to be looking for something. How long will it take for him to come back? Elder Hunyuan said with a smile. Damn it, it seems that you don't want to return it to us. The dark red divine dragon jumped out again. Old thing, you're really shameless. Lin Xian was also angry. He snorted coldly. You don't have to care about this matter. I'll do it myself. Since you don't want to come out, I'll beat you until you hand it over. The aura that exploded from Lin Xian's body was extremely terrifying. The other party has been evading me time and time again. Do you really think that I'm easy to bully? Why? Do you want to attack me? Hall Master Lin, I admit that you're very powerful, but you don't even have a 10% chance of winning against me. Elder Hunyuan sneered. He was a late-stage second heaven expert. He was definitely not afraid of the other party. Is that so? You can try. Lin Xian's aura was even more terrifying. Buzz. In the next moment, he directly attacked. A sword chi with the 5 elements law soared into the sky and slashed towards Elder Hunyuan. You're courting death. Elder Hunyuan roared angrily. The other party actually dared to attack him. It was really infuriating. He felt that he had been insulted. Boom. Light blossomed from his body, and natural laws circulated. He turned into a huge mountain and directly rushed up. Since you're courting death, I'll fulfill your wish. Primordial chaos. Do you really want to fight in front of me? Elder Mubai walked out as well. Right? Then I would like to experience it for myself. Elder Hunyuan did not hold back and directly attacked Elder Mubai. Suddenly, the two great divine abilities clashed together, and the terrifying energy blasted the surroundings. Those people retreated one after another. The experts of the second hall were all staring at Lin Xian and the others. Lin Xian coldly snorted and directly attacked the woman in black. He was courting death. The black-dressed woman shot out 9 black gourds, which quickly wrapped around Lin Xian. However, this time Lin Xian was truly enraged. The 9 young divine body shone brightly, and the great dragon sword soul burst into laughter. He also used stellar transposition to the extreme. Thus, he was able to injure the black-dressed woman in a few moves. The black-dressed woman spat out a mouthful of blood and was sent flying. Her face was filled with shock. How was this possible? Previously, he was still able to fight to a draw with his opponent. But now he was actually no match for his opponent. What was going on? Could it be that the other party hadn't used his full strength before? Thinking of this possibility, he was so scared that he almost fainted. Crack. Lin Xian attacked again. He transformed into a 5 elements coiling dragon and directly suppressed the black-dressed woman. Then he snatched the other party's storage ring. With a forceful twist, he took out a black gourd from the storage ring. No. The black-dressed woman screamed crazily. That black gourd was not an ordinary Dharma artifact. Instead, it was the gourd that he had used to collect the blood of the woman in white. At this moment, the other party had taken it away. Who knew what crazy things the other party would do? That was why she screamed crazily. However, in the next moment he was stomped into pieces by Lin Xian. Damn it, put down the gourd. The black dress was torn apart, but the black-armored man still charged over. He would not let Lin Xian succeed. The black armor on his body emitted a black light, and monstrous flames burned fiercely, tightly enveloping his body. Not only that, but black flame arms also appeared on his body. It was extremely strange. They carried a monstrous aura. Those arms were holding long black sabers and long swords. They carried an incomparably ferocious aura. Kill. The black-armored man charged over crazily. At this moment he was very powerful and could even fight with an early-stage second firmament saint. However, unfortunately, he was still no match for Lin Xian. Lin Xian used stellar transposition. The sabers and swords in the strange arms directly attacked the black-armored man. The black-armored man was split into 3 parts and screamed in the air. "Old dog, if you don't stop, your granddaughter will die." Su Chen shouted coldly and grabbed the black gourd with one hand. The law of ruthlessness turned into a divine chain and wrapped around the black gourd. A miserable scream came from the black gourd, and a vicious face was formed. It was the woman in white from before. "Grandpa, save me." Below, after Elder Hunyuan heard this, his body immediately swayed and he quickly retreated to the back. He did not make a move. He raised his head and looked forward. His expression became incomparably ferocious. "Damn it, go to hell." An extremely terrifying white light emitted from his body like a spider web or an immortal net. It charged towards Lin Xian. "Oh no, Hallmaster Lin, dodge quickly." Saint Mubai also shouted angrily. He raised his hand and turned it into a long rainbow, cutting off a few of them. However, there were still 3 that rushed towards Lin Xian. In an instant, he felt a chill run down his spine. Needless to say, this was an extremely terrifying technique. If one was entangled, the consequences would be unimaginable. He used the Kuanpeng technique, and the shadow of a Kuanpeng appeared on his body. He instantly moved horizontally. "I missed." Elder Hunyuan's pupils constricted in disbelief. He did not hold back in that attack just now. Those in the second firmament could not escape at all, but the other party had completely dodged it. "Damn it, put down my granddaughter." "Fine, hand over the great spear of destruction, and I'll spare your granddaughter's life." "I've said that the great spear of destruction is not with me, but with the left protector. If you don't believe me, you can search for it. You can also search through my storage ring. If you can find my cave abode, I'll admit defeat. Since that's the case, get the left protector over here." Lin Xian shouted coldly. However, Elder Hunyuan snorted coldly. "I don't know where the left protector is. So hurry up and let my granddaughter go. Then there's nothing to talk about." A cold light burst out from Lin Xian's eyes. The great dragon sword soul appeared in his hand, forming a terrifying sword chi that pierced through the black gourd. Poof! The black gourd was shrouded by thousands of sword chi, and was directly cut into powder. The white-clothed woman inside was also cut into a bloody mist. One of the souls tried to escape, but it was cleaved into 2 by Lin Xian's sword. Then it was cut into pieces. "No." The woman in white let out a blood-curdling scream before vanishing into thin air. Dead. Their elder's granddaughter was killed on the spot. Her body and soul were destroyed. The people from the second hall widened their eyes, and their scalps went numb. Saint Mubai also cried out in his heart. "Oh no, I think Lin Xian is a little reckless. Kid, I want you dead. I want you to be cut into pieces." As expected, Elder Hunyuan's eyes instantly turned red. The monstrous killing intent turned into a boundless sea of blood that surged in the 9 heavens. Chapter 34-36. You dare to kill me? Therefore, I will make you kneel in front of my granddaughter's grave for 10,000 years. Every day, you will receive thousands of arrows piercing your heart. Elder Hunyuan's vicious voice rang out. Everyone who heard it felt numb. They knew that Elder Hunyuan was really angry. Moreover, he had an extremely strong killing intent. It was an extremely unwise choice to offend such a late-stage second heaven elder. This Lin Xian was definitely going to die. Lin Xian snorted coldly. "You are wrong. The culprit is not me but you. It is your greed that caused your granddaughter's death. Moreover, I will tell you that if you do not hand over the great destruction spear, I will make your subordinates, your clan members, and even you all perish. I, Lin Xian, am a man of my words. Someone like you dares to threaten me? Kid, I will kill you first." Elder Hunyuan rushed over, bringing with him a monstrous blood aura. The nomological laws on his body were dyed red. It was abnormally terrifying. Elder Mubai rushed over, wanting to stop him. However, Elder Hunyuan shouted coldly, "Damn it, if you dare to stop me, I will not let you off. You killed my granddaughter. Today, no matter what, I will not let you off." However, Elder Mubai did not back down. Instead he said, Hall Master Lin, leave first. I will help you stop him. We will talk about this when we return. Speaking of this, he sighed. You are too reckless. Although I know you are anxious, there are other ways to solve this matter. However, Lin Xian said in a low voice, there are other ways to solve this matter? I can't wait. To be honest, Elder Mubai, I am very disappointed. I joined the Langya Star because I felt that the Langya Star could provide me with support. However, I am really disappointed now. I did not expect that there would be people in the Langya Star who are plotting against me. Moreover, they are still unrepentant. They still want to kill me? This is intolerable. If this matter is not handled well, I will leave the Langya Star. What? Elder Mubai was taken aback by Lin Xian's words. He did not expect Lin Xian to be so angry. Moreover, he even said such words. If Lin Xian really left the Langya Star, they would undoubtedly suffer a huge loss. They might even offend a young great emperor. Therefore, he said, Hall Master Lin, don't worry. Our Langya Star will not sit idly by and do nothing about this matter. I'll report this to the princess and have the people from the Law Enforcement Hall come and investigate. The Law Enforcement Hall? Elder Mubai, it's not that I don't trust you, but I don't trust the second hall. I believe that with the second hall's strength, they will frame me instead. Therefore, this matter had to be resolved today. Elder Mubai, you don't have to worry about me. A mere second heaven sage is nothing to me. Elder Mubai sneered coldly. Looking down on me? How reckless. Do you really think you're the reincarnation of a great emperor? I will let you know how powerful I am. Lin Xian also let out a long howl. Old dog Han Yuan? Do you dare to fight me one-on-one? If he lost, he would kneel, kowtow, apologize, or commit suicide. Also, tell us the whereabouts of the left protector. Brat, you're courting death. Elder Han Yuan was furious. He was called an old dog left and right by the other party. He was so angry that his lungs were about to explode. But soon he smiled sinisterly. Lin Xian actually dared to fight him one-on-one. He really didn't know what was good for him. Mubai, did you hear that? It's not that I want to fight, but this brat doesn't know what's good for him and provoked me. As an elder, if I don't respond, how can I stand in the second hall in the future? Hall Master Lin? Elder Mubai was also worried. Although Lin Xian was powerful and could defeat the black-armored man and the others, Elder Han Yuan was obviously different. That was an expert in the late stage of the second heaven. His strength was extremely terrifying. He looked at Lin Xian. Lin Xian waved his hand. Don't worry, since I dared to accept the challenge, I have 100% confidence. Today, I will make this old dog kneel in front of me and kowtow to me. Alright, I got it. Then let's activate the ancient arena. Elder Mubai took a deep breath. Now that things had developed to this point, there was bound to be a battle between the two. If he stopped him, there would be an even more unexpected accident. Therefore, he could only watch. If Lin Xian were to encounter any danger at that time, he would step in and save him. Are you serious, brat? Are you serious? The dark red divine dragon, and the others also exclaimed. Elder Han Yuan sneered. Let's see how you die later. How will I die? You old dog, it seems that you've lived for too long. Do you really think that a late second heaven saint can suppress me? I can only tell you that you don't know my true strength. Later, I will make you kneel in front of me and kowtow to me. You are just stubborn. When I catch you later, I will torture you 1,000 times, no 10,000 times. No one can save you. Elder Primordial Chaos descended. The ground below rumbled as a huge ancient battle platform appeared. This was used by the sages in ancient times to battle. The arena was covered with the marks of time. It was also stained with the blood of countless sages. It carried a monstrous and solemn aura. Come on, Ant. I will let you know the consequences of provoking me. Elder Han Yuan descended from the sky with a frightening aura. On the other side, Lin Xian was like a god of war. He descended quickly and completely shattered the surrounding area. His eyes were filled with an unparalleled battle intent. Today, he wanted to let everyone know that he, Lin Xian, was not to be bullied. Even a second heaven sage could not provoke him casually. The surrounding people all sucked in a breath of cold air and watched carefully. The people of the second hall were still in a daze. They did not expect that a young man would dare to fight with their elder. Where did he get his courage from? The dark red divine dragon and the north demon were also worried. Brat, don't let your emotions affect your decisions. If you can't win, run. Elder Mabai's expression was solemn. He was ready to save Lin Xian. Go to hell, brat. After seeing Lin Xian descend, Elder Hunyuan could not wait any longer. He struck out with his palm. Elder Primordial Chaos cultivated the limitless chaos art. His law was called the limitless law. It was a little like clouds and mist. It was incomparably ethereal. It was also a little like a gust of wind. It was extremely strange. At this moment, when he struck out with his palm, the law on it carried an extremely terrifying sharpness and was faintly discernible. Soon, it swept towards Lin Xian. What kind of law was this? It was so strange. The dark red divine dragon and the north demon also exclaimed. They could feel an extremely terrifying aura enveloping them. However, they realized that the aura was not real. It was as if they were dreaming. In fact, he had been killed in a split second. This old dog was indeed powerful. They wondered if the brat could block it. The two of them were worried. Lin Xian sneered. His body swayed and he directly used the Kuan Peng technique to rush out. Chapter 34-37. Lin Xian's movement technique was exquisite, creating countless afterimages in an instant. Every step he took was at the weak point of the other party's laws, so he narrowly dodged the illusory palm. What? He dodged it? The people of the second hall screamed. And even Elder Hunyuan was taken aback. His face turned gloomy. The other party's speed had become faster than before. He kept sending out the infinite palms, wanting to kill Lin Xian. Lin Xian displayed the 5 elemental laws. The 5 elemental laws were the laws of the 5 elements. It was very terrifying. It could be used together, and it could also display the characteristics and power of the 5 elemental laws. After Lin Xian attacked, he displayed the characteristics of the earth law. Suddenly, a huge mountain appeared in the void. It was incomparably heavy, and it pressed forward, wanting to crush everything. This power was simply too terrifying. Cracks began to appear on the Wuji giant hand of void around him. Kill! He roared, and the 5 elemental laws transformed into a sword of laws. He held it in his hand, and the great dragon sword soul also came out and merged with the sword of laws. With a slash of the sword, a terrifying sword light swept across the 9 heavens. In the blink of an eye, it shattered the surrounding infinity palm imprints. Infinite demonic cloud slash. Elder Hunyuan made his move. His palms were like rivers of blood, coming down from the sky. The infinite law carried an extremely strong killing intent, and it swept through the 9 heavens. It was terrifying. The crimson divine dragon and the others exclaimed. Even though they were so far away, they could still feel a heart-wrenching power. One could imagine what kind of situation Lin Xian was facing. Buzz. The infinite demonic cloud slash shattered countless afterimages, but it did not hit Lin Xian's real body. However, this terrifying demonic light had already forced Lin Xian into a space. Therefore, Elder Hunyuan sneered and attacked again. It was the infinite demonic cloud slash again. This was an attack formed by the fusion of the infinite law and the monstrous blood aura. This ability was too terrifying. Streaks of blood-red light were illusory, but they were filled with a murderous aura. Lin Xian used the Kuan Peng technique and dodged the light blades of the limitless demonic cloud before rushing over. The sword of laws in his hand opened and closed, instantly sending out dozens of dragon-shaped sword chi. Each of them looked like a true dragon as they charged forward. Boom! Boom! The loud dragon roar and the terrifying 5 elemental laws caused the people of the second palace to tremble in fear. Even Elder Hunyuan's expression changed. He let out a roar and spat out the limitless demonic cloud once again. It swept out like a waterfall. Those boundless demonic clouds did not turn into light blades. Instead, they seemed to have formed a large net with the intention of enveloping the several tens of dragon-shaped sword chis. However, he had underestimated the power of the sword chi. Each of the sword chi was extremely terrifying. In an instant, his boundless demonic cloud net was torn to shreds. Kill! Lin Xian roared as he became one with his sword. A terrifying power swept through the 9 heavens as he charged towards Elder Primordius. The sword slashed at Elder Primordius. Elder Primordius used the limitless demonic cloud to wrap his body and form a battle armor. However, he was still sent flying. Boom. He even spat out a mouthful of blood in the air. Ah. Damn, Junior, go to hell. Elder Primordius was completely enraged. He had been careless. The strength of his opponent was beyond his imagination. In the next moment, the terrifying killing intent in his body swept through the 9 heavens. At this moment, he had gone crazy. He was like a demon king. I won't hold back against you anymore. Die for me. Limitless universe. A very strange mark flew out from all directions, as if it could destroy the world. It was too terrifying. The black-armored man and the black-dressed woman both prostrated themselves on the ground, trembling. They knew that Elder Primordius was using an extremely terrifying great superpower. Even Saint Mabai's face was pale. He mobilized the power of the laws in his body, ready to help at any time. Because he knew that Lin Xian would not be able to block this move. Lin Xian let out a long roar. Stellar transposition. His hand drew a strange arc, and the 2 limitless seal that were close to him were sent flying and blasted into the surroundings. Boom. Boom. This power exploded next to Elder Primordial Chaos, causing him to cough up blood as he was sent flying. He was completely dumbfounded. What was going on? Why did this force explode beside him? Didn't he attack the other party? What? The surrounding people were even more shocked. Elder Mubai also gasped. He did not even know what had happened just now. What kind of technique was that? He had never seen it before. No wonder Lin Xian dared to challenge Elder Primordius. His technique was too amazing. Damn, kid. What kind of despicable technique did you use? The cracks on Elder Primordius' body quickly healed. His expression was extremely ugly. Despicable technique? Why don't you say that you are ignorant and can't even see what kind of superpower I used? An old dog like you dares to be arrogant in front of me? What a joke. This world no longer belongs to you. So hurry up and kneel down and kill yourself to atone for your sins. You want me to admit defeat? You are too weak. Buzz. Elder Primordius roared and took out a transparent jade seal. That was the limitless seal. It was a sacred artifact. Once the limitless seal was taken out, a terrifying power swept through the 9 heavens and 10 lands. Elder Primordius' nomological laws became even more terrifying. Not good. That was a sacred artifact. Damn it, this old fart actually had a sacred artifact. The dark red divine dragon screamed. The North demon also gasped. He naturally knew how great a boost a sacred artifact had on a sage. It could definitely instantly surpass the same level and reach an incredible combat strength. Not good. Lin Xian no longer had the great spear of destruction. This way, he would definitely be at a disadvantage. Sure enough, Elder Mabai's expression also changed. He originally thought that Lin Xian should have a chance of winning. But now, his heart had once again sunk to the bottom of the valley. Lin Xian's technique was strange. However, Elder Primordius' strength was even more terrifying. Originally, Elder Primordius was a veteran second heaven expert with rich experience and many superpowers. At this moment, he took out a sacred artifact. His combat strength had definitely reached an incredible level. It was estimated that Lin Xian's chances of winning were very slim. It could almost be said that there was no chance. It was a sacred artifact. That was great. Ha 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 ha. Elder Primordius was serious. Let's see how that kid will die. The powerhouses of the second hall also regained their hope. Kid, do you know what the weapon in my hand is? Let me tell you, this is a sacred artifact. Do you know the power of a sacred artifact? Now, even if you kneel down and kowtow to me, I will not spare you. I will make you wish you were dead. I will let you know the consequences of offending me. Chapter 34-38. A sacred artifact? Lin Xian's eyes flickered. A cold light burst out from his eyes. The great dragon sword soul rushed out from his body and was held in his hand, forming an azure dragon sword. Let me have a taste of your saint artifact's power. Lin Xian's aura became incomparably terrifying. The feeling was not inferior to a sacred artifact. The faces of the second hall's experts changed, and they looked at Lin Xian with a chill down their spines. Damn it, this aura. They stared at the dragon-shaped sword. What a terrifying sword shadow. As expected of a saint spell of the world. The great dragon sword soul. Elder Hunyuan's face also darkened. He knew that he could not wait any longer, and he immediately attacked. The Wu Ji seal blasted out, and a terrifying force suppressed the surroundings, and it blasted toward Lin Xian. Even a second heaven sage would be blasted into a bloody mist by this attack. Damn it, this old dog's strength is much stronger than before. The dark red divine dragon was anxious. The northern demon's expression was also solemn. Yes, it was indeed a sacred artifact. Lin Xian took a step forward and waved the great dragon sword soul. He was not afraid in the face of the opponent's sacred artifact. Even if he did not have the great spear of destruction, he would let the opponent know that even if the opponent had a sacred artifact, he would not be able to withstand a single blow from him. The great dragon sword soul in his hand roared. The golden runes were extremely strange, and between the runes, there was a green light emerging. Emerald Tide. Chapter 34-39. At this moment, Lin Xian finally used this terrifying eye technique. Buzz. Elder Hunyuan screamed in pain, and his nerves became distorted. Not only him, but the other experts of the second hall were also screaming on the ground. Oh no! When the others saw this scene, their faces changed. It was an eye technique and it was a group attack. Run. Damn, this kid actually knew such a terrifying eye technique. The dark red divine dragon was also shocked. However, at this moment, Elder Mubai had already come to their side and used his law to envelop them. Although the blue tide technique was an area of effect technique, Lin Xian had basically used the majority of its power on Elder Primordial Chaos. Although some of it leaked out, it was not impossible to resist. Elder Hunyuan was still the first to be hit. After being hit by the eye technique, Elder Hunyuan's soul seemed to have exploded. He hugged his head and fell from the sky. Whoosh! Lin Xian turned into a ray of sword light, and came in front of Elder Hunyuan. The five elements law formed the five elements mountain, and suppressed Elder Hunyuan. At the same time, he threw out a few rays of sword chi that pierced through Elder Hunyuan's body. Then he stepped on Elder Hunyuan's head with one foot. I said that you are no match for me. Do you think that I can't do anything to you without the great dragon sword soul? What a joke. He lifted his large foot and stomped down. Boom. This stomp caused the entire ground to shake. Countless large cracks spread out in all directions. A cold voice was heard. Hall Master Lin, where it is possible to let people off, one should spare them. Who are you? How dare you meddle in my affairs? I am the left guardian of the second hall. The voice was heard again. What? It's you. The dark red divine dragon screamed. Lin Xian also snorted. You are finally willing to come out. I thought that you wanted to be a coward. How dare you? A cold voice was heard and a large hand slapped towards Lin Xian. This power was much more terrifying than Elder Hunyuan's. However, Lin Xian was already prepared. His body swayed and he dodged instantly like a Kuan Peng, appearing on the other side. Was he angry out of humiliation? Or do you want to kill me to silence me? Hand over the great destruction spear at once, or I'll tear your second palace apart. Young man, you really don't know the immensity of heaven and earth. You actually dare to speak such arrogant words in front of me? A middle-aged man appeared in the sky. He had a powerful aura around him. He wore a Taoist robe and had a mysterious power. He was the left protector of the second palace. Leave and I'll spare your life. Otherwise, I will suppress you here for 500 years. Humph! Lin Xian coldly snorted, his eyes bursting with intense light. With a wave of his hand, the great dragon sword soul morphed into a powerful sword ray and charged forward. This sword strike was too fast and too sudden. It directly split Elder Primordial Chaos Soul into two. Then the great dragon sword soul swung its tail and smashed the two halves of the soul into pieces. No. Primordial Chaos Soul only let out a scream before disappearing between heaven and earth. The surrounding experts from the second hall, including the black-armored man, were all stunned. Their bodies began to tremble uncontrollably. Elder Hunyuan was dead. Chapter 3440. The left guardian was also stunned. Then his face darkened. You dare to kill him? His voice was filled with merciless killing intent. Lin Xian laughed coldly when he heard that. Why wouldn't he? He wants my life, so it's only right for me to kill him. Why? Do you think you can protect his life with your presence? What a joke. Who do you think you are? God? Or a ruler who can cover the sky with one hand? I killed him because he deserved to die. Secondly, I slapped your face. You don't have the right to act all high and mighty in front of me. Hurry up and hand over the great destruction spear. Otherwise, I'll bury the entire second hall with you. Facing the left guardian, Lin Xian was even more domineering. The surrounding people were stunned. They couldn't believe it. That's the left guardian. He's even more powerful than Elder Hunyuan. The left guardian was already a third heaven sage. Now his strength was unfathomable and extremely terrifying. Isn't Lin Xian courting death by going against such a person? You're too arrogant. Do you think you can be arrogant in front of me just because you defeated Hunyuan? You're too weak. The left guardian's aura was too terrifying. It was so terrifying that it was unbelievable. Lin Xian frowned and sneered. You're much more powerful than Elder Hunyuan. But so what? Lin Xian hadn't reached the small saint realm yet. Previously, he could escape from the Vermilion Bird Palace. He even dared to negotiate with the great sage in the Demon Cultivation Valley. He didn't care about the left guardian. Left guardian, hurry up and hand over the great destruction spear. Otherwise, don't blame me for being merciless. Elder Mubai also walked up and stood in front of Lin Xian. Why, Mubai? Are you going to protect him? The left guardian frowned. Elder Mubai snorted. I think you've become muddle-headed from your seclusion. This is Hall Master Lin, the future hope of our Langiastar. I hope you won't make a mistake again. Hurry up and hand over the spear. Elder Mubai didn't hold back at this time. This was because he realized that Lin Xian was much stronger and more talented than he had imagined. They definitely had to rope in such a person. Therefore, Mubai might have had some misgivings before, and was prepared to let the people from the law enforcement hall intervene. But now, Elder Mubai could not control anything. He had to stand on Lin Xian's side. What great spear of destruction! I don't know. The left protector snorted coldly. Elder Mubai shouted angrily. Seems like you won't shed a tear until you see the coffin? He directly made his move, and a terrifying light rushed up like a vast ocean. Courting death. You dare to attack me? The left protector roared as the two of them clashed. Violent power swept out in all directions. He was even stronger than when Lin Xian fought against Elder Primordial Chaos. Lin Xian's figure flashed and retreated far away, sword chi circling around his body. The dark red divine dragon, and the others also came to his side. At the same time, they sucked in a breath of cold air. Damn, this Mubai is so powerful. Previously, when he saw the other party and Elder Hunyuan, he thought that the other party was only at level 2. But now it seemed like he was not. The left protector was at least a level 3 sage. Doesn't this mean that Elder Mubai is also a level 3 sage? That should be it. Lin Xian felt the violent laws in front of him and nodded slightly. The people from the second hall were also horrified. They did not expect things to turn out this way. Everyone retreated far away. In the center, the two peerless experts were fighting. Both of them had exchanged close to 300 moves. Suddenly, Elder Mubai roared and a terrifying aura rushed out from his body. In an instant, the left protector was sent flying. At the same time, he stretched out his hand and directly pierced through the left protector's body. He forcefully pulled out a black weapon from the left protector's body. Great spear of destruction. The dark red divine dragon screamed. Lin Xian's eyes widened. He did not expect it to be in the hands of the other party. What made his face turn gloomy was that the other party seemed to be refining the great spear of destruction. There were countless blood-red lines on it. However, it seemed like the lines were not completely refined. In the sky, Elder Mubai looked at this scene and frowned. How dare you refine it? You must be tired of living. As he said that, an extremely terrifying law appeared on his palm, and forcibly obliterated all the blood-red runes. Ah! The left protector screamed in pain. He felt that his soul connection had been severed. Damn it! How dare you destroy my soul mark? He roared furiously. However, Elder Mubai ignored him. With a wave of his hand, he threw the great spear of destruction to Lin Xian. Hall Master Lin, you go first. I will hold him back. Elder Mubai's voice sounded. At this moment he no longer looked like a peacemaker. Instead, he looked like a supreme god of war. All right. Lin Xian nodded. He also hesitated. Holding the great spear of destruction, he waved his hand and turned to leave. Stop him. Don't let him go. The left protector regained his body and roared furiously. Countless experts from the second hall rushed forward and sealed the area. They could not leave. They stared at Lin Xian. You must be tired of living. The great spear of destruction swept out and smashed all the people in front of him into pieces. Those who block me shall die. Lin Xian's voice was sonorous like the god of death. The surrounding experts from the second hall subconsciously took 3 steps back and trembled all over. He was too powerful. He could kill Elder Hunyuan even without the great spear of destruction. Now that he had the great spear of destruction, his power would definitely increase again. He might even be able to fight against the sage of the third heaven. How could they be a match for him? Everyone stop. At this moment, another voice was heard. At this moment, a few figures flew out from the palace in the mountain range in the distance. Seeing these figures, the people from the second hall screamed and cheered. It was the 8th elder, the 6th elder, and the right protector. That was great. They all cheered. Although the 8th elder and the 6th elder were not as powerful as Elder Hunyuan, they were not much weaker. More importantly, the right protector was here too. The right protector was not weaker than the left protector. He was at least a sage of the third heaven. Such a person could definitely take down Lin Xian. Not good. The dark red divine dragon and the north demon's faces changed. Lin Xian furrowed his brows as well. Another third celestial layer expert had arrived. He took a deep breath and was ready to fight. In the distance, the left protector also laughed. Mubai, let's see how you are going to stop me this time. Elder Mubai also stopped attacking. He turned around and stared at the right custodian as he asked coldly, "Are you really going to fight? Think carefully. The consequences are not something that you 2 protectors can bear." Mubai's voice was filled with endless authority. Mubai, don't you understand? At this stage, it is no longer something that we can control. We have our own difficulties too. Is it that old man who wants the spear? What? Elder Mubai's eyes narrowed. Lin Xian also frowned. Although he did not know who this old man was, he did not know. Judging from the tone of both parties, he should be an extremely powerful person. Coupled with the words of the dark red divine dragon and the others, could it be that some old living fossil under the dragon vein wanted the great spear of destruction? Chapter 3441. If that was the case, things were going to get troublesome. Such a living fossil, regardless of status or strength, was a terrifying existence. Even the palace master of Langya Palace might not be able to suppress it. The dark red divine dragon and the north demon thought of the same thing, and their faces darkened. Kid, why don't we leave Langya Star quickly? I don't think this place is suitable for us to stay. Lin Xian's eyes flickered and he seemed to be deep in thought. At that moment, a cold snort could be heard. Was that so? Just which Grand Elder's idea was it? I want to see who dares to be so bold at this time. The voice was filled with dominance. Lin Xian and the rest were stunned. Mubai, on the other hand, smiled. Greetings, senior brother. Senior brother. Lin Xian and the rest sucked in a breath of cold air. Mubai was already extremely terrifying. His senior brother would definitely be even more terrifying. Judging from the other party's tone, it seemed like he did not care about the Supreme Elder at all. The right guardian and the left guardian's faces darkened. The experts from the second hall also began to tremble. Many of them had never seen that person before. However, the 2 great protectors took a deep breath and bowed respectfully. Greetings, Supreme Elder. The people from the second hall were dumbfounded. Supreme Elder? Is the person who came out the Supreme Elder? They hurriedly bowed and prostrated. "Tell me, which old bastard is it that's secretly playing tricks on me?" The Supreme Elder on the stage said coldly in the sky. The left and right guardians felt their scalps go numb, and their bodies were drenched in cold sweat. This scene was simply too inconceivable. Previously, when the two guardians came out, they were like peerless gods of war. Countless people were excited and shocked, as if they were saviors who could save the second hall. But now, these two unparalleled powerful beings were just like ants, shivering in fear. Is this the power of the Supreme Elder? It's too terrifying. No wonder the people from the second hall dared to snatch the Great Destruction Spear. They must have the support of a Supreme Elder. However, he didn't expect that Lin Xian would also have the support of the Grand Elder. Even Lin Xian and the others were surprised by this. It seemed that there was no need for them to leave. They should be very safe here. This matter ends here. Tell the person behind you to stop. If he has any complaints, tell him to come to me. Yes. The left and right custodians bowed and said, not daring to raise their heads. The Grand Supreme Elder snorted coldly. With a wave of his sleeve, Mu Bai, Lin Xian, and the others turned into a ray of light, piercing through the sky and disappearing. After the other party left, the protector let out a sigh of relief. As for the people from the second hall, it was as if they had returned from the gates of hell. On the other side, Lin Xian and the others appeared in a palace. The Grand Elder stood there with his hands clasped behind his back, curiously sizing up Lin Xian. Xian Er quickly said, thanking the Supreme Elder for his help. You don't have to thank me. Little fellow, I heard that you brought back the great sage Dharma idol from the void ocean, and suppressed the demonic aura of the Langya star. Logically speaking, you are the benefactor of the Langya star. Moreover, now that you have joined the Langya star, you are naturally one of us. The previous situation was just a small part of the people's thoughts. It has nothing to do with the will of the Langya star. I hope you can understand this. I understand. Lin Xian nodded. The Grand Supreme Elder said this to dispel his worries. After such a thing happened, it was inevitable that Lin Xian would not be on guard or prepare to leave the Langya star. However, the Grand Supreme Elder's words should make Lin Xian feel more at ease. Recently, due to the situation outside, the few old farts under the dragon vein have awakened. Someone must be thinking of something. Don't worry, I will go back and negotiate with them. They probably won't do anything again. Senior brother, what happened outside? At this moment, Elder Mubai was also a little anxious. The current situation was very bad for the Langya star. I am here this time to talk about what happened outside. We will talk about this later. As he spoke, the Grand Supreme Elder looked at Lin Xian again. Little fellow, I think very highly of you. This is my token. In the future, if there is anything on the Langya star, just use my token. I will see who dares to do anything to you. Thank you, Senior. Lin Xian took the token and held it in his hand. The corner of his mouth curled up into a smile. Then the Grand Supreme Elder left with Elder Mubai, leaving only Lin Xian and the rest. Damn, we are finally safe this time. The dark red divine dragon heaved a sigh of relief. With such a powerful Grand Supreme Elder supporting them, the people from the second hall would probably not dare to do anything to them. This Grand Supreme Elder is very powerful. I wonder who he is? The northern demon's eyes also flickered. Lin Xian held the token in his hand. It was a jade pendant. The front was engraved with a blue sky, and the back was engraved with a word Fong. It was probably the Grand Supreme Elder's surname. Elder Fong? Lin Xian's eyes flickered. He put away the jade pendant and said, let's go back. They tore through the void and returned to the 8th hall. Then Lin Xian and the rest went into seclusion. Lin Xian needed to consolidate his cultivation. As for the dark red divine dragon and the northern demon, they also went into seclusion. Because they had returned from the void palace ocean, they were worried about Lin Xian's safety, so they did not go into seclusion to cultivate. Now Lin Xian was already a sage. Naturally, they had to seize the time and try their best to break through. Previously in the void palace ocean, they had obtained many treasures. In addition to the resources from the 8th hall, Lin Xian also had an even more important treasure, which was the Great Sage Pagoda. He had asked Black Mountain to use a secret technique to take some treasures from the Great Sage Pagoda and give them to the dark red divine dragon and the northern demon. Lin Xian had never been stingy with his friends. At this moment, on a huge mountain peak, there was a celestial palace. There were a few figures standing there. One of them was the Grand Supreme Elder from before. Beside him was Mu Bai. The other people's auras were also very powerful. Obviously, they were all experts with strength and status on the Langya star. At this moment, they were gathered here to discuss something. Seeing that Elder Fong and Elder Mu Bai had returned, the rest of them asked. Elder Fong said coldly, "The people from the second hall were behind this. It was probably that guy who wanted to make a move. However, he probably did not dare to make a move openly, so he was suppressed by me. The things have been returned. The little guys have all gone back. I just don't know what happened next. As long as Lin Xian is fine, it's good." The others also nodded. The Grand Supreme Elder snorted coldly. He guessed that guy would not dare to make a move again. However, he might have some tricks up his sleeve. He had to be careful. Speaking of this, he shouted, "Dreamy, come here." "Greetings, Master." In the distant void, a stream of light flew over. Then a figure half knelt in the air. He was extremely respectful to the Grand Supreme Elder. Chapter 3442. Meng Meng was a very beautiful woman. She had a delicate face and pointed ears. She was wearing a layer of light gauze. She knelt there with utmost respect. The wings on her back flapped gently, bringing with them a mysterious aura. The Supreme Elder said, "From now on, go to Lin Xian's side and protect him." "Yes, I understand." Meng Meng nodded gently, then stood up, tore open the void, and disappeared. The 8th Palace. Lin Xian sat in a secret room, his hands forming seals. The invisible laws on his body flickered. In front of him, there was a jade bottle. Inside, there was a blue liquid constantly flying out and being absorbed into Lin Xian's body. This jade screen was naturally a treasure obtained from the Great Sage Pagoda. It had to be said that the treasures in the Great Sage Pagoda were really magical. The liquid in the jade bottle was even better than the best elixir in Lin Xian's possession. Therefore, Lin Xian could not wait to cultivate. After about 3 months, he opened his eyes. The laws on his body were more profound, and their power had increased. He did not continue cultivating because he was not the kind of person who liked to go into seclusion for hundreds of years. He liked to explore and fight. He liked to improve his strength in intense battles. He went out for a walk and found that the dark red divine dragon and the northern demon were still in seclusion. He knew that the two of them would not come out until they became sages. However, he was not worried about this. He had given the two of them enough cultivation resources. He believed that with their talent, it was only a matter of time before they became sages. Therefore, after walking around, Lin Xian came back again. With my current strength, I should be able to open the void divine furnace again. His eyes flickered with a trace of anticipation. The void divine furnace was also a supreme treasure. Taking a deep breath, Lin Xian entered the mysterious world within his body. Then, using the power of the 5 elemental laws, he moved the cauldron of the illusionary divine furnace and lifted it up. Ka. As expected, an opening appeared in the void divine furnace. Lin Xian was delighted. He wondered what he could get from the void divine furnace this time. Whoosh. Lin Xian had originally wanted to give it a try. He wanted to see if he could take the initiative to enter the void divine furnace and obtain the treasure. But now, even if he became a saint, he would not be able to do this. He didn't know who had left this furnace behind. It was too scary. He could only wait for the things inside to float out. Not long after, something floated out from inside. This time, it was a rolled-up piece of beast skin. Lin Xian took the beast skin and closed the void divine furnace. He withdrew the law and curiously picked up the animal skin. This piece of beast skin was very light in his hand, as if it didn't have any weight at all. He didn't know what kind of beast skin it was made from. Moreover, this piece of animal skin seemed to be very old. However, since it was something that came out of the void divine furnace, it was definitely something good. Lin Xian couldn't wait to open the animal skin. The beast hide wasn't too big, and upon opening it, Zhang Xian found that it was actually a map of the stars. Lin Xian looked at it and knew that it was a map. However, the background was the universe of stars. A map? Could it be a treasure map? He became interested and carefully studied it. Indeed, he found that one of the stars was circled with a special red mark. However, there was no marking at all. "Kid, what are you looking at?" Heishan also floated out. He was also surprised when he saw that there was a piece of beast skin in Lin Xian's hand. "I don't know what kind of map it is, but it seems to be a treasure map." "A treasure map? Let me take a look." Heishan looked and found that there was indeed a marked place. "Kid, where did you get this map? Looking at the appearance of this beast skin, there shouldn't be too many treasures, right?" Heishan curled his lips. However, Lin Xian's eyes flickered. There shouldn't be too many treasures? If that was the case, it shouldn't have been placed in the Void Divine Record. Therefore, this must be a mysterious place. He said, "Since I have nothing to do recently, why don't we explore it?" Heishan naturally had no objections to exploring the treasure. Lin Xian stood up and prepared to walk out of the 8th palace. However, as soon as he stepped out of the palace, he saw a figure walking toward him. "Who are you?" Lin Xian was stunned. He had seen all the elders of the 8th palace, but he had never seen the person in front of him. It was a woman. She was tall and had a beautiful face. Her 2 pointed ears made her look like an elf. The pair of wings on his back were translucent and looked extremely beautiful. She came to Lin Xian's side and bowed slightly. "Greetings, Palace Master." "Who are you?" Lin Xian was surprised. "My name is Meng Meng. The Grand Supreme Elder sent me to follow you." "Oh." Lin Xian frowned. It was the Grand Supreme Elder with the surname Fong. He had sent someone to follow him. He guessed that the person was protecting him. After all, even if the second palace didn't make a move, they would still do something in the dark. Lin Xian said, "Then you can follow me. However, I might have to leave the Langiastar for a while. Why don't you stay in the 8th palace?" "Palace Master wants to leave?" Meng Meng was stunned. She had heard about this new Palace Master. She knew that he was a top genius and had caused a huge commotion in the Void Ocean. At this moment, countless experts outside the Langiastar were here for him. Therefore, it was too dangerous for him to go out at this time. She said, "Palace Master, do you really want to go? It's not safe outside recently. Is there a teleportation formation that can send me out? Avoid those people outside." Lin Xian frowned slightly. It seemed that those people from the 8th palace had not left yet. They were really unwilling to give up. "I can't make this decision. I have to ask Elder Mubai. Palace Master Lin, please wait for a while." Meng Meng quickly sent a voice transmission to Elder Mubai. Not long after, Elder Mubai came and said anxiously, "Palace Master Lin, do you really want to go out? If there's anything, you can ask the others on the Langiastar to help you. It's really too dangerous for you to go out now. No one can help you with this matter." Lin Xian shook his head. He had to go treasure hunting. No one could help him. He said, "Don't worry. Don't you believe in my strength? Even if those people are strong, I won't fight them head on. Also, it shouldn't be a problem to send me out secretly." "All right." Elder Mubai took a deep breath. He knew that a genius like Lin Xian would not be willing to be lonely. Only the most hot-blooded battles could allow him to grow. He said, "Then I'll send you to a nearby world. You must be careful. Also, you must let Meng Meng follow you to protect your safety." "All right." Lin Xian nodded. As long as he left, it didn't matter if someone followed him. However, he still asked, "Elder Mubai, is the situation outside very serious? Is there anything I can help you with?" After all, this matter started because of him. Chapter 34-43. Mubai said, "Don't worry, Hall Master Lin. Although it's serious, we can still handle it. Moreover, we've already thought of ways to drive a wedge between them. Perhaps their attention will be diverted then." Hearing this, Lin Xian nodded and said, "After I leave, you can also release some information, and I can also set up some illusions. Tell them not to cover the Langiastar for the time being, and search the universe to find me. They will probably fly around like headless flies. He didn't care about those big sects outside. He didn't intend to fight them head-on now. Therefore, there shouldn't be any danger this time. Elder Mu Bai took Lin Xian and left the Langya star through a world-level teleportation formation. They arrived at a nearby star world. Dream came along with them. Buzz. The formation flashed and teleported them to another star world. This star world was also relatively close to the Langya star. It was considered a subsidiary world. Lin Xian and Dream's figures appeared. This time, there were only the two of them. The dark red divine dragon of the north was still in seclusion and didn't follow. After the dizziness caused by the formation disappeared, Lin Xian looked around. Let's go. The two of them rose into the sky and flew toward the outer realm. Not long after they arrived in the outer realm, Lin Xian frowned. There were people searching nearby. Lin Xian even used his heavenly secret god eyes and saw that there were even more people in the distance, which was the area near the Langya star. There were also many sages wandering around. It seemed like those people from the Dragon Valley and the 8 swaying mountains were still unwilling to give up. However, he didn't expect the other party to search such a wide area. He had already used the world-level teleportation formation to teleport to another star world. But the other party had set up a defense line. Let's go. Lin Xian waved his hand and brought Dream along. The two of them prepared to leave quickly. However, at this moment, a cold shout came from afar. Stop! Countless laws flew and formed 7 lines of defense, blocking them. Then a team rushed over from afar. Who are you? Who allowed you to wander around? Dreamy frowned and turned around. When Lin Xian turned around, he also changed his face. Although these people were saints, he was confident that they wouldn't be able to detect him. We are from this star world, and are preparing to go out to search for some treasures. Lin Xian said indifferently. Looking for treasures? What treasures? Don't go. Recently, this star field has been completely sealed off by us. You can only enter but not leave, so you guys should just stay here obediently. Can't go out? Lin Xian frowned. At this moment, a burly man at the side laughed coldly. What was the point of talking to him? He was just an ant. Just kill him. Because Lin Xian and the others were hiding their auras, they didn't know how strong Lin Xian was. As far as they were concerned, such a young man was at most a half-saint. They had 2 sages on their side. Killing such an ant was as easy as blowing off dust. In front, the middle-aged man waved his hand. He stared at Lin Xian and Dreamy. Kid, you're going to die. How about this? I'll give you a chance to live. Get lost and leave your female companion behind, and I'll spare your life. Hee hee, little beauty, looking at you, could it be that you're from the elf clan? Let this saint take good care of you later. The middle-aged man revealed a look of greed. The elf clan was known for their beauty in the universe. Moreover, the elf clan's bloodline was not bad. They were close to nature. If he could get a woman from the elf clan as his partner, it would be very beneficial to his cultivation. Therefore, even this saint was a little tempted. Behind him, the burly man also laughed. Was he from the elf clan? Then you can't eat all of it alone. I want to share. He also walked over. The 2 sages' eyes shone brightly as the laws surrounded them. The warriors following them sneered. They felt sad for Lin Xian and Dreamy's fate. Lin Xian frowned, and a cold look appeared in his eyes. However, before he could say anything, Dreamy, who was next to him, was furious. Go to hell. The wings on her back drew a dreamy ray of light. Like a heavenly blade, it instantly cut the 2 of them in half. Slash. 2 heads flew up, and the sage's blood splattered. It directly pierced through the warriors behind them. Countless screams sounded, and at the same time, their eyes were filled with infinite fear. Who was this person? With a raise of her hand, she cut off the heads of 2 sages. Damn it, this is bad. The 2 sages also screamed crazily, and their heads flew back in an instant. They're not ordinary people. There's something wrong with them. Hurry up and catch him. The 2 of them roared angrily, but they were slapped into a bloody mist by Dreamy. Not only that, the translucent wings on Dreamy's back kept flapping, instantly forming a sacred domain. The bloody mist of the 2 sages and the warriors in the distance were all enveloped. In the next moment, countless screams sounded, and then the sacred domain disappeared. Everything turned into ashes. Temple Master, let's go. Dreamy turned around and said. Lin Xian nodded and rushed over in a flash. At the same time he was shocked. This woman is a little violent. But that's good. It saves me the trouble of taking action. The two of them turned into two streams of light, instantly cut through the dark universe, and flew into the distance. When she found that no one was chasing after them for the time being, Dreamy said, Temple Master, I was a little impulsive. I shouldn't have attacked like this. Lin Xian waved his hand. No, you did very well. Because even if you didn't attack, I was prepared to attack. Let's go. As he said that, he took out the spirit boat, and the two of them quickly streaked through the void. Behind them, more than 10 figures came out from the place where the battle had been. They were a few sages. They looked at the scene around them and frowned. Oh no, someone attacked. And a sage has fallen. Damn it, who is it? Is it someone from the Langya Star? Or someone else? I don't know, but it must be related to Lin Xian. Hurry up and investigate. They roared crazily. They quickly set off to search the 4 seas and 8 wastelands. Unfortunately, Lin Xian and Dreamy had already left. Next, Lin Xian and the others sat on the spirit boat, cultivating as they flew towards their destination. Although he didn't know the specific location on the star map, he could still identify the general direction. Therefore, he decided to fly to the star field first, and then ask about the specific world marked by the red circle. Which world was it? Just like that, a month passed. The cold void of the universe was emotionless and gloomy all year round. Only a few stars were shining brightly. Generally, those who traveled in the universe were powerhouses. However, they only cultivated in seclusion and flew on the spirit boat. After all, such a boring life would drive one crazy after a long time. On this day there was a change. When Lin Xian and the others passed by a star world, Lin Xian suddenly opened his eyes. Then the spirit boat stopped. What's wrong? Temple Master? Dreamy also stood up. Chapter 34-44. Lin Xian did not say anything. Instead, he pointed to the outside. Meng Huan's soul stretched out to control the array. She was stunned. It turned out that there was an intense battle in the world closest to them. It seemed like the battle was about to reach the outer realm. Meng Huan frowned. In the distance, the battle was extremely terrifying. The murderous aura shot into the sky. The surrounding sea of blood was still surging. It made people feel like they were in hell. Large cracks appeared in the sky. Buzz. Right at this moment, a huge palm grabbed out from below. It covered the entire sky and covered the entire sky. A few martial artists who wanted to escape were caught in an instant. Blood gushed out of their wounds as they screamed in agony. Palace Master, should we help? Meng Huan asked doubtfully. This kind of thing was very common. Therefore, she did not understand why Lin Xian stayed here. Was he going to stand up for them? Lin Xian frowned. His eyes flashed with a golden light as he looked into the distance. Suddenly, a cold light flashed in his eyes. He stood up abruptly and rushed outside. Meng Huan was stunned when she saw this. She also rushed out. Outside, a few figures escaped from the large palm. One of them was covered in blood and his face was extremely pale. At the same time, a cold voice was heard. Catch Gu Santong. You can't let him escape. The item is in his hands. This voice was filled with endless power of the laws and terrifying murderous intent. It shook the 9 heavens. Then, a flying sword with terrifying murderous intent flew towards the injured youth like a meteor. Not good, Santong, run. Young master, I'll block it for you. The 2 elders beside him roared crazily. The injured youth roared. Damn it, let's go together. Boom. Just as he finished speaking, he was sent flying. The thunder on the flying sword was too terrifying. Then a cold laugh was heard. You want to leave? Do you think you can? Another 3 flying swords flew towards the young man. Each of them was filled with lightning as they flew towards him. From the looks of it, he wanted to kill the young man on the spot without holding back at all. No, young master, leave quickly. The surrounding experts roared madly, but there was nothing they could do. The 3 flying swords were getting closer and closer to the injured youth. As for the injured youth, he raised his head and roared. I can't accept this. He couldn't accept it. But so what if he was unwilling? This time, there was only one saint in their group, and the strongest of the others were only half-saints. But the other party, however, the other party had sent 3 sages. It was already a miracle that they were able to drag it out until now. Was he going to die? I'm the one who harmed you. I'm sorry. The young man gave up on resisting and let out a miserable smile. He was also a peak-level genius, but that was in the past. After coming to the ancient path of stars, he didn't seem so dazzling anymore. This time, for the sake of the opportunity, he gave it his all. But was he still going to fail? Thinking of this, he closed his eyes. The 3 flying swords were extremely fast and arrived in front of him in an instant. He was already able to sense the berserk power that was brought about by them, let alone 3. Just one strike was enough to destroy his soul. He had already prepared himself for death. However, in the next moment he was stunned, because he felt that the 3 extremely terrifying forces of destruction had disappeared in an instant. What was going on? He suddenly opened his eyes. In the next moment he was stunned, because he found that a figure was standing in front of him. That figure, with his back facing him, stretched out a large golden hand, and directly grabbed the 3 flying swords of thunder. The 3 flying swords were like thunder dragons. They kept twisting and turning, trying to break free, but they couldn't do it at all. He was saved. The injured youth's face was full of shock. The surrounding warriors were also stunned. They instantly rushed over. Thank you for saving him, Senior. They looked at the figure who made the move and were very excited. The other party had caught such a terrifying attack in an instant. He must be a powerful senior, a powerhouse. The figure in front turned his head and glanced at the injured youth. Brother Gu, long time no see. What? The surrounding people were all stunned. The injured youth's body also trembled, and his eyes widened. You are? Brother Lin, it's you? He was too shocked, because he found that he knew the person in front of him. And before that, they were good friends. However, back then, they were all top geniuses in that world. After they left and went to the ancient Star Road, he didn't see him again. He didn't expect that he would appear here again. That's right, it's me. The person who came was Lin Xian. He looked at the injured youth. This injured youth was none other than one of the Gu family's geniuses, Gu Santong. He was one of Lin Xian's friends in the true spirit world. Back then, Gu Santong should have walked the path of the family, so he didn't stay with Lin Xian. But he didn't expect to see this scene today. In the surroundings, the Gu clan's martial artists were also stunned. It seemed that he was a friend of their young master. That's great. They were saved. However, Gu Santong's face changed instantly. He said, Brother Lin, leave quickly. There are 3 saints in front. We can't fight them head-on. Leave quickly. Yes, let's go first. The surrounding people also said, You want to leave? Do you think you can? Below, cold laughter sounded. Then countless figures rushed over. At the front were the 3 saints. These 3 saints stood in 3 different directions, sealing off the space. Lin Xian, Gu Santong, and the others were all sealed. To think that there would be more helpers. But so what? They were just 2 young juniors, existences that were akin to ants. They could easily kill them. Brother Gu, what's going on? Why are you being hunted? Lin Xian was also shocked. That shouldn't be. Gu Santong was a genius of the Gu family. And the Gu family was a family that had produced a great emperor. They were definitely from the emperor family. How could such a clan be hunted down? Could it be that something unexpected had happened? Gu Santong sighed. His face was incomparably lonely. This matter was hard to explain in a few words. Moreover, this wasn't the time to talk about this. Gu Santong looked around. His face was ugly. Brother Lin, I'm afraid I've implicated you this time. No worries. Lin Xian shook his head. Then he took out some spiritual wine and spiritual medicine from his storage ring, as well as treasures of heaven and earth for Gu Santong to consume. Recover first. Then he turned to look at Meng Meng. Meng Meng, I'll leave the rest to you. Yes. Meng Meng nodded and walked out. Gu Santong was stunned. The warriors around him were also stunned. What's going on? Shouldn't the most important thing now be to find a way to escape? Why didn't this person do it? Instead, he sent a beautiful girl? Could it be that he thought a thin and weak girl could handle such a situation? What a joke. There are 3 saints on the other side. Chapter 34-45. Sure enough, the 3 sages on the other side also sneered. She really didn't know what was good for her. Looks like she's an idiot. She doesn't even know who we are. Well, let's kill her in one move. One of the sages raised his hand and sneered at Dreamy. She's not bad looking, but she's an idiot. So, there's no need for her to live. His finger was filled with endless nomological laws as it pointed forward. That was the attack of a sage. Under that attack, no one below the level of a sage would be able to survive. Therefore, the people on the other side all sneered. They wanted to see what kind of tragic scene it would be when such a beautiful woman was killed. The people of the Gu family all had their hearts in their throats. Many of them closed their eyes. They felt hopeless. Gu Santong was also so anxious that his face was red. He wanted to say something, but Lin Xian waved his hand. He was very calm. In front, Dreamy was even calmer. Looking at the finger, she revealed a disdainful smile. In the next moment, she raised her jade-like hand and slashed forward with her finger like a knife. The force slashed down and tore the sky. Terrifying energy instantly spread over. The finger nomological law of the sage was torn to pieces. Otherwise, that saint would have been sliced into 2 by a single slash. Ah! A miserable scream was heard. It made one's scalp tingle. The scene became extremely strange. The people on the other side were stunned. Heavens, what's going on? One of their sages was cut in half. Although it was only a first heaven sage, it was still an existence that transcended heaven and earth. Everyone below the level of a sage was an ant. How could this woman in front of them be so powerful? Could it be that she was also a sage? At that moment, they were all confused. The people of the Gu family also opened their mouths wide. Their eyeballs almost fell out. Originally, they thought that such a beautiful woman would definitely disappear into thin air, so they all closed their eyes. However, when they opened their eyes and saw the scene, they were also stunned. What a powerful technique. This woman must be a sage. They had all misjudged her. Damn it, who are you people? At that moment, another sage spoke. Since the other party was a saint, then he must be from a big family or a big sect. They had to get to the bottom of this. Firstly, they had to avoid kicking an iron plate. Secondly, they might be implicated. You don't deserve to know. Dreamy said coldly. She could already tell that the people being hunted down were Lin Xian's friends. If they hadn't come, these people would have been killed. Since that was the case, she would definitely not go easy on him. You're courting death. Little doll, you're too arrogant. Attack together. The 3 saints shouted coldly. They didn't want any undue delay. As far as they were concerned, Lin Xian was nothing to be afraid of. He should be the young master of a large family. This little girl should be a Dao protector. That was probably why his strength was so terrifying. As long as he took down this woman, the rest of the people would be nothing more than ants. Kill. The first to make a move was the injured saint. His expression was ice cold, and the laws revolved around him, forming a large furnace. This caused the entire sky to burn as furnace after furnace containing boundless flames descended from the sky, destroying Meng Chou. The other person opened his mouth and spat out countless sound waves. The sound waves turned into blades of the laws, slashing down. The last person slapped out with his palm. The stars, sun, and moon revolved around it. It was extremely mysterious. The third great sage had used his ultimate technique, wanting to kill Dreamy instantly. Not good. Seeing this scene, Gu Santong and the others became nervous again. Although they now knew that Dreamy was also a saint and was very powerful, this was not a one-on-one battle. The other party had 3 saints attacking together. No matter how powerful Dreamy was, she wouldn't be able to block it. The only one who was calm was Lin Xian. Lin Xian knew that Dreamy was sent to protect him, which meant that she must be very powerful. The 3 saints of the first heaven couldn't do anything to her. Dreamy didn't say anything. The The translucent wings on her back flickered with mysterious power, and the laws revolved around them. She gently danced and turned into two blades of light, slashing forward. These two blades of light carried with them destruction and killing intent. It was extremely terrifying. As soon as they appeared, everyone felt that their souls were about to be split open. Between heaven and earth, two rays of light lit up. Then, everyone couldn't see anything. When they regained their vision, they found that the three sages had been killed. Their bodies and souls had been destroyed. They couldn't be more dead. What? They were all dead? Gu Santong and the others' eyes almost popped out of their sockets. Those were three sages. How terrifying. But now, the three saints were lying there like dead dogs, without any signs of life. Who was that woman in front of them? The people of the Gu family were extremely shocked. Could it be that she was really the protector of the young man next to them? The remaining powerhouses on the other side were all stunned. The half-sages started to tremble. Dead. The three saints of the first heaven had died in an instant. Run away quickly. In the next moment, they fled like crazy. The woman in front of them was too terrifying. There was no way to stop her. How could Dreamy let these people escape? She shouted and activated her saint domain, enveloping heaven and earth. Countless blades of light flashed. Each of them brought about countless flowers of blood. Almost in the blink of an eye, everyone was killed. In the sky, only the mountain of corpses and the sea of blood were still surging. As for Dreamscape, she withdrew her saint domain. Not a speck of dust could be seen on her body, not even a drop of blood. The people of the Gu family looked at this scene and were extremely shocked. At the same time, they were extremely envious. If their young master Santong had such a Dao protector expert by his side, that would be great. However, in the next moment, their eyes widened again. They couldn't believe what they saw. In front of them, the beautiful woman came to Lin Xian's side and said respectfully, "Temple Master, are you satisfied with what I've done?" Not bad." Lin Xian nodded, and then Dreamy stood respectfully behind Lin Xian. This scene stunned the people of the Gu family. What was going on? Was she not a protector? To be honest, they couldn't believe it either. That was because guardians were usually very arrogant. Basically, they wouldn't make a move unless it was a matter of life and death. But this woman in front of them was so respectful to this young man. This was not the style of a protector at all. Instead, she looked like a follower. Who was this person? What was the background of this young man? They all looked at Gu Santong. Gu Santong was still in shock at this moment, but after being pushed by his elder, he immediately came back to his senses. Chapter 34-46. He took a deep breath and was just about to say something. Lin Xian said, "Brother Gu, let's not talk about it. Let's leave this place first." "All right." Gu Santong nodded. Next, they followed Lin Xian into the spirit ship. Then, it quickly flew across the universe and disappeared into the darkness. After entering the spirit ship and completely leaving, Gu Santong and the elders of the Gu family finally heaved a sigh of relief. They began to swallow elixirs to recover from their injuries. However, most of them were fixated on Lin Xian. Among them, a few elders said, "Sir Santong, you haven't introduced this sir yet?" "Yes, this is the great benefactor of our Gu family." "You don't have to say that. Brother Gu and I are good friends, and we both came from the same stellar realm. Naturally, we have to help each other." Good friends with Sir Santong, and we both came from the quintessential world. The elders of the Gu family were all stunned. Gu Santong swallowed 2 elixirs and nodded. "That's right. Don't you recognize him? Brother Lin was the Central Emperor." "Central Emperor?" "Lin Xian. It's him." The surrounding elders of the Gu family were stunned at first. Then they all sucked in a breath of cold air. How could they not know? He was one of the top 5 peerless geniuses of the quintessential world. Eastern Sage, Southern Emperor, Northern Demon, Western Buddha, and Central Emperor. The Central Wilderness was Lin Xian. They did not expect to meet an old friend here and be saved by him. Lin Xian frowned and asked, "Brother Gu, what happened? Did something happen to the Gu family? Why are you being hunted down?" To be honest, he was very confused. A genius of the emperor family being hunted down was really too unbelievable. Hearing this, Gu Santong smiled bitterly. It's not that something happened to the family, it's me. What happened to you? When I was in the quintessential world, I was considered a top genius. After leaving the ancient path of stars, my talent was not the best. More importantly, before leaving the ancient path of stars, I challenged the divine body of the Gu family. In the end, he was injured by him. Moreover, because of my challenge, the godly body was extremely angry and started to suppress me. This caused me to gradually break away from the core circle of the Gu clan. Later, after leaving the ancient starry sky path, the support I received from my family gradually decreased. Some time ago, I happened to get some news about the void demonic beasts, so I decided to take a gamble and brought some people to explore. In the end, I really did find a void beast skin. However, I was chased by other experts and thought that I was dead for sure. I didn't expect you to come and save me at the last moment. Gu Santong's explanation was concise, but Lin Xian already understood. It seemed that Gu Santong had offended someone, and the person he had offended was the godly physique of his own family. The Gu clan was an imperial clan, and the godhood of the Gu clan was similar to Leaf Dao Denier's status in the Yi clan. Therefore, if Gu Santong offended such a person, he would end up badly. Fortunately, Gu Santong was already qualified to leave the ancient path of the stars. Otherwise, it would be even worse. Not only that, the godly physique secretly tried to kill us, but we were lucky and escaped. The elders beside them could not bear to watch any longer. It was obvious that things were not as simple as they seemed. Lin Xian only had to think about it to know that such a battle between big clans would be extremely dangerous. Gu Santong was lucky to be able to survive until now. So what are your plans now? Lin Xian asked. Gu Santong sighed. What plans could he have? As long as the godly physique was in the Gu clan, he had no chance and no right to go back. Moreover, he wanted to say something, but he suddenly sighed and shook his head. Forget it, he would not say it. Oh right, brother Lin, why are you here? Gu Santong asked. Lin Xian said that he had recently obtained a treasure map, so he wanted to come and explore it. He took out the map and pointed to the star circled in red. It should be nearby, but I am not sure. This is the Great Yin planet. Gu Santong exclaimed. After Lin Xian heard this, he was also stunned. Then he asked, You know this star world? Gu Santong nodded. That's right, this is the Great Yin planet, because I am in this star world. You are there. Lin Xian was surprised, but he soon smiled. It seems that I am really lucky. Then I will disturb you for a few days. Brother Lin, you are still so polite with me. You are my savior. I originally wanted to invite you to my place. I must treat you well. Since he already knew that this was the star world, Lin Xian did not hesitate. He immediately changed directions and flew towards the Great Yin planet. Soon, they arrived at the Great Yin planet. The Great Yin planet was also a famous star world. There were many powerhouses and many sages. It could be said that martial arts were very good. Gu Santong had a certain amount of power on the Great Yin planet, so he quickly arrived at a spirit vein. In the next few days, Gu Santong really treated Lin Xian well. The two of them seemed to have endless things to talk about. Furthermore, they had also discussed some matters regarding the martial path. Gu Santong was only a half-sage, while Lin Xian was already a sage. After a few conversations, Gu Santong benefited a lot, which made him very happy. Next, Gu Santong tried to go into seclusion, while Lin Xian and Lin Xian prepared to walk around the Great Yin planet. This was because the beast's skin only showed a star world. As for what was in this world, he did not know. However, Lin Xian did not care too much. Treasure hunting was all about excitement. Although he did not know what the final treasure was, he did not know. However, to be able to come here and meet Gu Santong was already a huge stroke of luck for him. Even if he could not find the treasure, Lin Xian felt that it was worth it. After all, in the true spirit world, he did not have many friends. Besides Gu Santong, there was also no flower in Yi Wudao, who were on good terms with him. However, these old friends were scattered all over the universe. It was not easy to meet them. Moreover, Lin Xian felt that if this map allowed him to meet Gu Santong, he might be able to find some other opportunities. Lin Xian brought Lin Xian and wandered around the Great Yin planet. After nearly a month, he understood the local customs of the Great Yin planet. He also had a new understanding of the heavenly Tao. Unknowingly, his strength had also increased steadily. After more than a month, Lin Xian once again returned to Gu Santong's place. After he returned, he felt that the atmosphere was a little strange. It seemed to be a little heavy. What was going on? Lin Xian frowned. Could it be that something had happened again? At this time, an elder walked over and said respectfully, "Young Master Lin has returned." Seventh elder, what's going on? Why do I feel that the atmosphere is a little strange? That you're tuning in to the Li Mei's Wuxia Whispers YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.